all good. So I'm gonna start. Let me go live first, actually, before I start recording this. We should be live. I think
Should be. Should be.
We should be live.
We
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Is
We
anybody
are?
here though?
Hold on. I'm already noticing. Oh wait,
Uh-oh, it's cursed.
Oh no, what's
Cursed.
wrong?
1 second.
What's wrong with the stream? Come on.
Nothing's wrong with the stream. It's me being an idiot again.
What you do?
Don't click the link in the tweet. Never mind. There's no tweet anymore. It
What
links to
did
the
you-
January podcast episode.
You buffoon. Oh my goodness.
What is the link for the February one? I never got that.
I'll drop it in chat.
Thank you. I'm
So
sorry.
needy. Wow.
Jesus Christ.
I kid.
You're the best, Eric.
That's what I'm here for.
What's his purpose?
Notice the change in the title for the live stream. How I put two of the bands we're talking about in the title of the live stream.
Two.
Good.
Only
Nice,
two?
nice.
Only two. I mean, were there any other important releases this month? As far as I'm aware, it's just those two.
Ah, okay. I see how it is.
I mean, I have a bunch, but like, they weren't good, so.
Uh,
All right, now we're good.
Are we sure we don't want to talk about the new Foo Fighters album?
No.
who? What band? I don't know if I've heard of them before.
A small known band out of the US somewhere. Kind of new actually. It'd be good to get them some exposure, but I mean, if you don't want to talk about them, that's fine. The album was okay, I guess, but like, get them some presents, you know.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna hit the record button for the official video format that I'm going to use for editing it.
Ooh, somebody's typing something.
It's me. It's notes for the songs.
This is not scuffed. Come on, guys.
Dude, I'm trying my best. It's been a week. It has been a week.
Actually, it's
It is-
been a
it's
month
been a-
since we recorded.
Both are factually correct.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Like I can't handle it anymore.
All right, howdy everyone. Welcome to the
Sure.
Hivemind Recap Podcast, February 2021 recap.
You guys,
Can you believe it?
can you?
I know. I
This
can't
is
believe it.
episode 12.
Yeah, I
we
was
are-
about to say
this
this sobering thought.
It's
Yes.
the end of the first 1 year cycle of doing this
Oh,
podcast.
Fucking
jeez.
sobering thought that next month would have been a year of this podcast already.
What?
I mean, yeah.
Would have been. Yeah, guys. Sorry, this will be the last episode.
What the hell parallel universe are you living in, Justin? Hello?
Look, I just ended work about 15 minutes ago. I missed up a tweet about three times.
Yeah,
Look,
he's out of
as far as I know, that
It's
the
be-
internet
it's
the
better.
internet does not exist right now.
We'll take his opinions on these with a grain of salt because of it. It's just whether or not we agree with him, right? Like if he has a good take, we'll be like, yeah, Justin, great
I'm
one.
sorry I misinterpreted that rival song for a Day to Remember song. It just didn't sound that good.
Man, if you have a bad take, we'll say you just got off work.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Redact the opinion. We can edit it out in post. It'll be like you never talked. It's fine.
But it will
Just edit
still be
out-
on the stream.
Edit out my voice.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's that stream exclusive content, right? I think that's what we do.
That's a great segue. That's a great segue into the fact that we live stream these podcasts. For any
Exactly.
listeners on Spotify or on YouTube later on. We live stream these every month at like 6 or 8 o'clock Eastern, depending on our availability. So subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't yet. We're on the road to subscribers.
Exactly.
I mean,
We
What
just
do you
hit
mean?
25.
We
We
did
had
just hit
25.
25. We did just hit 25. Small step for
One small step for Jake, one giant leap for the Hivemind.
Yep.
sure.
Yeah, okay.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
I think we have a game-winning idea here, man. I've been thinking about this more. I think that we just edit out everything Justin says and then put out a Patreon and be like, you have to subscribe, and if you can subscribe, you can like hear his takes inserted into the podcast. Like
I'm okay with this as long as I get a majority of the royalties.
We'll cut all his timestamps and we'll put them in as like separate MP3 files with timestamps. So it's like, oh, you've hit the 36-minute mark. You can hit play on track 1, and it's just Justin's opinion for the song.
Yeah, they have to put it together
and
themselves.
It's also
exactly. It's like a puzzle.
It's also only a 13-second song.
The problem is I don't have much. The problem is I don't have much to say on like this month's. So you're already gonna get unlimited.
I think that would be funny as shit. Somebody drops like $5 on the Patreon, and they're like, "All right, play this one at 36 minutes," and they hit it, and it's just a 3-second clip of Justin going, "That was pretty good." Just moved on.
It's like a DLC.
Exactly. Yes, Hivemind DLC. I'm liking this. Oh
Hivemind
yeah,
DLC coming soon.
Exactly.
Which, by the way, I don't know. We have something coming up next week. Are we gonna be live streaming that or recording that? We didn't talk about this off camera.
But I'm not opposed.
Yeah.
Something special.
Justin, do you wanna spill the beans, Justin? I'll let you do that if you will.
Yeah, so we actually talked about this last week. We talked about a new release from a artist, Lurk. His release with Derek of Sunsleep and Julian Camero from Loveless. And he actually reached out to us. We got to talking, and we're actually going to be doing a recording with him next week, where we just shoot some questions, kind of talk about music, talk about what we're all interested in, and just kind of hang out for about an hour and a half, maybe. Who knows, depending on what we do. We don't know if we're going to be live streaming that. If we are, follow the channel. Social media links are everywhere. Subscribe so you can get the notification on your sub boxes whenever YouTube decides to act right. But otherwise, like, Lurk is definitely someone that Derek and I have been listening to for quite a bit. There's actually been some new stuff he's been teasing that's going to be heavy, and I'm really excited. So I'm really interested to talk about his experiences and inspirations for what he does.
Yeah, new Hivemind. We'll call it a feature we got going on here.
We need to come up. We need to come up with like a name for that. I don't know what we want to call it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, see, if you that's one of the benefits. If you don't know what to call it, is you come up with a name for it. So thank you for that excellent insight, Jake.
I mean, we do a lot of like soapbox commentary, so we just call it like a soapbox or something.
The Hivemind soapbox.
I
don't like that.
We'll come up with it later.
Yeah, this is the problem for later, fellas.
Yeah, this is a problem for later.
Yeah, but this isn't also an open invitation of any artists or listen to us, because I know quite a few do, to get a lot of opinions about their own music. Since we're a smaller, podcast, it's going to be very easy to reach out to one of us, and you're more than welcome to do that. We'll definitely try and set aside time if we can. We're all adults in our own minds.
We are all
not in our minds.
It may not show through some of our content, right? But we're all adults here.
Yeah, we're all aged adults. That doesn't mean we act like them.
Exactly. Yeah. Physically and mentally, two different.
Only on a very specific basis, which is not when we're recording.
But no, yeah, absolutely. Reach out to us. We're more than accessible, and we'd love to have you on.
Absolutely.
Yep. So with saying that, I'm just going to go into waiting to follow our social medias. That's where you can reach out to us at Hivemind Radio _ on Instagram and Twitter, Hivemind Radio on YouTube, Hivemind Radio Recap on Spotify, and a bunch of other streaming platforms. Reach out to us. Let us know what you think of the episodes. If you want to be on the podcast or anything, we're open to it. So yeah, I think that's most of what we needed to get out the way at the beginning here. I think the only other thing I want to mention is my radio show is officially back now. When we did our January recap last month, I hadn't started it yet, but I've been doing it for 3 weeks now, and I'd say things have been going pretty smooth so far. So if you want to catch my radio show, which is why this podcast even exists in the first place, I have a radio show every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, where I basically play a bunch of the music that we talk about on this podcast here. So if you want to basically just listen to the music instead of listening to us talk, you can listen to the radio show. I post the announcements for when I go live every Tuesday. And yeah, that's about it for the radio show. If anyone that listens to this is interested in that, so. Is there anything else we want to get out of the way before we get into talking about the actual February recap, where we talk about new music from the month of February?
Oh, thank you for that clarification. I was a little confused there for a second. I didn't know where we were going.
Yeah, it's fine, Derek. I know you're a little bit slow, but I thought.
Dude, there's no need. Stop. You've got to be kidding me. Unreal. We are less than 10 minutes in and counseling's already necessary. I can't believe it. Usually it takes us like at least 4 songs in before somebody has a dissenting opinion and we all get upset. But no. We're 10 minutes in and you've called me slow. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I'm going on strike. What can I form the Hivemind union? Like, I feel like I need some trust busting here. Like I'm gonna grab my picket sign. I'm gonna go up front. Hivemind unfair. Quill J1 is in there, standing at the concession, plotting my oppression.
I'm indeed in there.
I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. You know what we should be in?
And like
this February recap, fellas. Yo, true. yup. That needs to be a vocal sample. I think right before like some bass drop or breakdown. I'm feeling it. Just build up. Quill J1 is in there, and it drops. I like this. I like where we're going.
I'll get Bill Murray on that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, shall we get into the music, fellas?
Let's go.
Derek, take it away for this first one.
Oh, God bless America. We have
Australia.
No, dude, Era is not Australian.
Wait, are they not?
No.
What the fuck?
You are, dude. This is I think you need to sit this one out. I need you to go sit in the corner and stare at the wall. Think about what you've done.
Okay.
Look, okay. Not everybody on UNFD is Australian.
I'm well aware. I don't know where that came from, but
dude, he's out of the A in Era stands for Australian. We've got a new single from Era entitled "Scorpion Hymn." Fellas. Dude, who played it through their microphone there? What the fuck?
that was Toby.
We're gonna have to cut it out.
Oh, dude, it sounded so good. Exactly, right? No, this is so good. I love this. This is probably my second favorite single behind Snowblood, no lie.
This is my favorite single.
Okay.
And also, I know I've been shitting on Snowblood a little, so I went back and the song made me like Snowblood.
Yup. Let's go. My number one song of 2020 for the uninformed. God bless. I didn't know that JT could do Tunnel Throat until I heard this song. I didn't know he could go that low, man. This song vocally and instrumentally is just crazy to listen to. Like there's so much like vocal melody here too. I think there's one point where it's like burning in eternal shadow. You know what I'm talking about? Like that bit, and like the instrumentals like chug along with his vocal rhythm, and it makes a hit almost.
That's gent.
Like, dude, it gents. It gents, man. It's just so good. And this apparently is the first Era song since like their first album that hasn't had any cleans in it.
Oh, really?
Just like at all, or any of Jesse singing at least. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, Jesse's had some sort of vocal part in like every other one. Like even they put out a cover, in 2019, I believe it was, of You Think I Ain't Worth $1, but I Feel Like $1 million or something like that. It's really good, but even that, like Jesse doesn't do any singing, but he does like backing ooze, like in the pre-chorus or whatever. Like so I thought that was interesting. I would have expected there to be like, I feel like I remember Neon having a couple songs that were heavy enough that I just didn't remember Jesse's vocals in them, but I think this is the best 4 single run I've heard ever, like leading up to an album, and it's AOTY season, boys. That's all I gotta say.
I have been placed in my corner of shame, so I don't have an opinion on this.
I will allow you to speak if you have something to say.
I'm also not an Era, so.
All right, so my opinion on this song is very similar to how I felt on House of Glass, where it just, the uncleans didn't really work for me, and the vocal, like, not even just the uncleans, but just like the strange vocal delivery just hasn't clicked with me.
Okay, yeah.
And it just almost feels awkward to listen to. In saying
I
that,
see it.
instrumentally the song fucks.
Oh yeah.
But that kind of goes for most era songs. So
If we don't get an instrumental album, I'm gonna be upset. We've got it, right? Like they've got to do something. Have they put one out before?
I heard on Reddit that they are putting out the guitar tabs for the next single. So,
man, I don't care about the guitar tabs. I want to hear an instrumental album.
Well, then you can make your own instrumental.
Dude, you think I can play the drums? It's gonna be the guitar tabs and me going dun 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 in the background. Like what? And then if I hit him with the bass, I go right, and then I basically got an era song. I'm feeling it. This could be it. This could be it, fellas. We get the guitar work from the next single, and then we all pick an instrument, and we make a beautiful song, and then we throw it on the Patreon.
Do my hands count as an instrument?
Would
Sure,
it cost
man,
more or less than me on the podcast?
Oh, I think
less.
Yeah, I think there's
Hell
like a cover tier and a Justin tier.
Yeah.
Right, we got 2 tiers.
Hell
Justin content is privileged content.
Exactly.
You know
exactly. You got to be honored.
You need these privileged pretty goods.
Exactly. You have to understand that this is a real blessing to be able to hear the Justin MP3s.
Oh,
like even now, his comment, like you couldn't hear him there, right?
No,
like he's not there. He's not there. You can't hear him right now. You know, we can hear him on the
talking to
Patreon.
themselves. I can't help it.
No, I do. I am very excited for this album, which comes out on the blessed date of March 19th.
God bless that date.
That date is going to be crazy, man. We've got so many new albums coming out.
So while we're on the topic, what are the total albums for that date? Because as far as I'm aware, it's Era and Rival.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Landmarks?
Yes, Landmarks is also that day.
Is it just those 3? Because like even still, that's a sick fucking triple threat of albums.
I can find out for you really quickly if you want to do something while I figure that out. I don't want to watch the ad. Yeah, no, wait. I don't know about that. Man. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see here. All right, I'm gonna find out. Y'all can keep going. This is important to me.
I don't think I have too much more to say about this song. I didn't really go back to it much throughout the month.
I didn't have anything on it, so that helps.
It was a good song to open up the podcast with. That's all I'll say.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yes, sir. It's always good when the first song released of the month that we're going to be talking about on the podcast is something that we're all excited about.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
When you start a month when it's like, yeah, let's get into the music. Here's a song. We're all underwhelmed.
Yeah, right.
I specifically remember we started off August, which was like a sick fucking month with a really underwhelming song.
Cypher Sight, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm good to move on to the next one if you guys are.
Absolutely.
Fight the Fade. This is the first time we're talking about them in one of the actual recaps. We mentioned them in our 2020 awards, but it's time to talk about their new single, Cut and Run.
Dude. I didn't know I needed this, and I want more of it. I want more of it.
This, to me, this is just another solid Fight the Fade song. I don't think it's clicked with me the same level it has for you.
Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite single releases within this last month. Those I don't know, I've been listening to Fight the Fade since their 2016 self-titled album, where a lot of songs actually sounded like this. But I feel like their album last year that Jake enjoyed, I feel like it kind of deviated a little bit from the more kind of electronic side. I feel like it was more rock influenced, which is fine. That was good. I didn't put it as highly as probably my in my top 15. And this track is actually as part of a signing to Blue Stahli's
I wanted to get into that. Fixed.
Fixed.
Because I have quite the history with Fixed, because they were basically like the first record label that got me into rock as a genre almost. Like even before I discovered Amaranth, which I consider is like my real introduction into like rock and metal, and when I really started to get more into it, Blue Stahli was like one of the very first artists to really get me into like guitars as an instrument in music. And to see Fight the Fade go to that label, I think is pretty cool.
It was a surprise.
Yeah, definitely a surprise, but I think they fit right in with their mix of electronics, which they pretty heavily lean into.
Yeah.
Definitely matches like everything that the label is about. So
This was for an album for the label as well called Radium, which is just a bunch of electronic producers.
it's just a compilation album of like a bunch of other bands on Fixed. I'm pretty sure.
I think this isn't even the only vocals. I think Voicians also did something. But yeah, this is probably one of my favorite releases. I can't say if it's better than anything that released on the albums that we'll get into, but it's definitely been one of the more repeatable songs.
Yeah, by no means is this a bad song.
I should probably go into more specifics of what I like. Mainly the second verse, like the second chorus after the first verse. Or no, first after the first chorus, the second verse, just where they got into that heavier part, and then slowed it down. That and then the breakdown as well. Like that's what I really enjoyed from this.
Yeah, as I said before, it's a solid song.
Yeah, I just want more.
Yeah, I think you said pretty much anything I have to say about it. Derek or Jacob, you guys have any comments on Fight the Fade here?
No, not really. I enjoyed this more than a lot of material on that 2020 album, but I just thought it was a solid hard rock song. You know, I didn't have too much to say outside of that just because I wasn't super passionate about it. But
same.
So that takes us to our next single then, I think.
Yes, sir. We've got the new single from Nerve entitled Bad Nature. Is this attached to anything upcoming, do we know, or is this standalone?
They have an album. They have an album coming up this year.
There is an album in the works with no official release date.
Okay.
And this song is really goddamn good, and I want an album release date.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's likely this and Hopeless are going to be part of it.
Well, I was just about to say, they've got, looking at their Spotify thing, the Hopeless and Bad Nature are both in the same, like, kind of almost like if you were to etch it into wood with a pocket knife, like that sort of font, that they're both in that. So I've got a feeling they're tied together.
Yeah. This instrumentally, amazing. Yeah. Nerve is proving that there is someone to look out for. I still like the message more in Hopeless and the lyrics more of Hopeless, but this in general is just a really well put together song.
I want to make a comparison here. Is this the second coming of Captives?
Huh.
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I could see it, but I don't think so. No, I'm not with you on that one.
I will say no. Very much no.
I feel like there's definitely like a gap between the two. Especially in vocal delivery.
I mean they're also American. They're from Sacramento.
Yeah. But I feel like the quality that Nerve has been putting out between this and Hopeless is on par with like everything that Captives are doing in terms of like small band that kind of just came up out of almost nowhere and are killing it from the get-go.
Well, they had a EP back in 2018 titled Bad Habits.
Yeah, Bad Habits, yeah.
Where I only liked the title EP from that. Everything else kind of fell out. But in general, like there's something that's been on my radar for a little bit. I feel like between them and Captives, I think Captives have a bit stronger vocal delivery, while this kind of has more kind of emotional vocal delivery. But in general, like I can see the comparisons, but I feel like Nerve has its own diverting sound.
Yeah, for sure, I can see it.
And it good.
Yeah, this song's fantastic.
Yeah.
The opening riff, when I first heard that, I was like, oh, hell yeah. Hopeless didn't capture me the way it did for you, Justin. And then I hear this song and I see what you saw in Hopeless from this band now.
Yeah, the main part of Hopeless I will always go back to is just the ending part where it loops seamlessly into the song again, and that's how I get into like listening to it for like 20 times. That's all I got.
I don't have too much more to add about this. Nerve are a fantastic band. Definitely keep your eye out on them.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
So that takes us to Rivals. They're back again with another single entitled Strawberries. So I think we actually hinted at this one in our January recap because Rivals, their release schedule for their album has just coincided with when we record these podcasts. So the single that we talk about the night we are recording them came out when we were recording the previous episode. I'm pretty sure is how it's been every single time, which is kind of funny. But Strawberries was another fun song. I don't think it's as memorable as Sad Looks Pretty on Me or Fake Rich, but it's definitely another solid single that is keeping me excited for the eventual release date of this album in March, which I am really looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm entirely on board with you there. I think it's really interesting that like we get that release date for, or not like the March 19th for the album, but like the singles getting released as we record the new ones. Because it's like last time I heard Sad Looks Pretty on Me and I was like, this is my favorite single so far. And then I heard Strawberries and I'm like, man, maybe this is my favorite single so far. And then I've heard the most recent single that came out like today, and I'm like, 2 days ago. Yeah. And I was like, man, now this is my favorite single so far. And so it's like I can't in good faith say that like, oh, the Strawberries is my favorite single off this because I've already heard the next one and it's better than this one, right? Like, but I don't know. I think overall, like with the 4 singles that we had already, the album is shaping up to be very good. And even though like this has, I mentioned last recap that Sad Looks Pretty on Me, I felt like had more pop influence than this one. Having spent more time with Strawberries, I think that I was wrong. And like the lead singer mentioned of Rivals, this was definitely the one that had was the most pop driven, right?
I'm pretty sure that Kaylee said on Twitter that this is the only song on the album that's in a major key.
Okay.
So
yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. There's been a decent amount of variation amongst these singles, but they all seem to have that like distinct Rivals feel to them that I feel like especially Kaylee's voice brings to it.
Yeah, her voice is so incredible.
Yeah, and
every single song is so good.
Everything that they have done, which it feels like almost like in her delivery a play on some of like the early days of Paris, but in a very like unique way at the same time. Like it feels like there's a lot of different influences here that have come together to make something that's very unique and very listenable and accessible almost. But it
is super listenable. Like I can show this band to pretty much anyone. Like I don't have to explain. Like when I talk about music to most people, it's like, yeah, I'm into like hard rock and metal. If I don't say that and I just like show them, hey, there's this cool band I listen to called Rivals, like anyone's going to be able to take it with open arms, I feel like.
Right. Yeah, it's just great to see when bands are able to stay true to their identity and make themselves more accessible at the same time. Like we've seen plenty of bands sell out to radio rock and it feels like they've lost who they were for however many releases prior, right? But with Rivals, you've got something that feels new, but it's still distinctly Rivals.
Yeah. I think the one thing that's holding me back on this one is there isn't that super memorable moment for me in this song.
Yep, I'd agree.
Whereas Sad Looks Pretty on Me has one of the catchiest verses I've heard all year in the pre-chorus. Fake Rich has the sick breakdown. Right. Lavenders is a little bit forgettable as well, but still like a solid song. The one thing that did stick out to me in this song was the bridge, which I thought was pretty creative. Almost more energetic than the chorus itself, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
And then there was also a fun little production detail where there's a line that says something around the ocean waves, and then there's like some birds and some waves like in the background, which I thought was pretty neat. But overall, Strawberries is a solid song. I am extremely excited for the album. I don't have too much more to add here.
Yeah, your point about it not being like super memorable in certain aspects, like not having that wow moment in the way that some of the other singles did, I think is very on point. It'll be interesting to see like if they become memorable in the context of the album. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, oh, this melody comes after this song, and so I remember it a little bit more because I've got that transition between the two, or like a juxtaposition as opposed to this just like coming on in my playlist, if that makes sense. But
alrighty, let's move on. As Everything Unfolds have been on the exact same album release schedule as Rivals has, which is incredible. because both have been incredible. And Grayscale, it's their latest single. And as everything unfolds, have done it again. What else can I say? This band is sick as fuck. I think, in saying that, this might be one of the more forgettable singles again, even though it is still fantastic. Like, I think that's more so saying the strength of the other singles rather than the weaknesses of Grayscale as a song, because it still has a fantastic chorus, and it has a surprise breakdown that comes at the end, which was great. I think this is definitely like the slowest paced song that they've released so far, whereas Stranger in the Mirror was definitely a little bit slower as well, but this one feels more ballad-esque, even though it's not really a ballad. And I think it'll work fantastic in the context of the album. By no means is it a bad song, but in comparison to everything else they have done, I don't think the main thing that I come back to this song for is that breakdown at the end, which is very short, and I don't think it is as memorable as the most memorable parts of their other songs. So that's kind of my stance on this song.
Yeah.
But
you've pretty much completely mimicked everything that I had planned on saying, right? Like I thought that this, like, it wasn't bad by any means, it was my least favorite single so far, but it's still like really good.
Yeah.
And that surprise breakdown actually at the end is probably my favorite moment out of all the singles so far. So like it was the weakest single but had my favorite moment. And so I'm kind of left in like personal limbo.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm sitting here like, okay, this is good. I'm not really super vibing with some of what I'm hearing, but then there's a sick breakdown and like I have to go back. It's kind of like
the build up into the breakdown too.
Yeah.
Like they just transition out of the chorus and you get that one like long guitar.
You're like, all right, bring it to me.
Yeah, exactly. Right. The first time I heard that, I'm like, oh shit, they're doing it.
Like, you mentioned a while back with like Outsider by Veil of Maya that like you don't super love the song, but you go back to listen to it for specific parts because it's like, this is really good. That was me with this song. That like I didn't have this song in constant rotation, full disclosure, but like going back to that breakdown, you know, just to hear it. Yeah. Right. Like it's real good.
Similar to Rivals, I am so excited for this fucking album.
Yeah, another like, March release.
I don't think it is no secret at this point that Rivals and As Everything Unfolds are two like top 10 album contenders for me at this point. And getting them back to back is just going to be a treat. So,
speaking of top 10 album contenders for this year, Jacob, tell me about this new single we're talking about next.
1,000 Below have released a new song called Gone to Me, and it is a fucking banger. I listened to it 25 times in the first night.
Yup. You got any updated numbers on that?
I'd have to check, but
we talking well over the 100 at this point?
No.
Oh, man, rookie numbers.
Justin's Traceless numbers be like.
Yeah, exactly. Justin's listened to Traceless like 10,000 times at this point. He's literally, all of his playlists have been completely emptied and just filled with the Traceless EP on repeat for like 20 hours. Like, no, this new 1,000 Below is damn good.
This is one of their best songs, I think.
Yeah.
I would have to agree.
Like,
I think it's a good combination of both their albums. Like you got the soft parts, you got the heavy parts from their first album. It's so good.
Yeah, to me, this felt like it would have fit almost more on Gone in Your Wake than the Love You Let Too Close. This, for me, probably would have been like mid to upper part on my rankings from Gone in Your Wake, I'd have to say. I think if it were on that album, I mean, like it's good. It's not my favorite.
If this was on Gone in Your Wake, this would have been probably my favorite or second favorite song on that album.
Ooh.
And I think I have an interesting experience with 1,000 Below because I wasn't super into them. I listened to that album and I wasn't super impressed. And then I heard them live and I revisited it and I'm now much higher on it than I was before. But I still think that this single is just absolutely incredible and shines above most of everything else that is on that record for me.
I think "Fake Smile" is the single 1,000 Below song I've played in like ever.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites. It's in
I really
contention
enjoy
with
it.
Gone to Me is like my favorite from that album for sure.
Now hold on, are you saying that's the only 1,000 Below song you've ever played, or is that the only one?
No,
that you like
that's the one I
revisit?
keep coming back to.
Okay.
On that album.
Yeah, see, for me, it's Lost Between. I think is by and far one of my favorite song, or my favorite song off that album, and in retrospect, probably one of my favorite songs of 2019.
They weren't at the show we went to for Dayseeker, right? Derek?
No,
It was,
no,
yeah,
that
it was
was
just Polaris.
Polaris, Like Moths to Flames, Wage War, and Dayseeker. Yeah,
Okay, I couldn't think of Like Moths to Flame.
dude, if 1,000 Below was on that lineup too, ooh.
Yeah, we would just stayed that entire night. I would have been fucked to getting home from Richmond.
I am so sad we didn't stay for the other three bands. Having listened to the Death of Me, like now, like I wasn't super into Polaris at that point, or like Moths to Flames.
Neither was I, and I really wasn't into Wage War, but I really liked that album they had out.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think about that in hindsight, and I'm like, damn, I would have rather seen them play live than gone and got pizza. Like, don't get me wrong, that pizza was fire,
It
but
was
like,
real good.
But like, Polaris and like Moths to Flames gave me two of like some of the best albums of last year, I thought. And so it's like, man, if I could have that lineup today, or any concert for that matter, just give me a concert, man. Like,
we are approaching the 1 year anniversary of when I saw Bad Omens and 1,000 Below last March.
Yeah.
Before COVID broke out.
Tomorrow. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I saw We Came as Romans 2 days before the everything shut down.
Yeah, my I think tomorrow is the 1 year anniversary of getting the email notification that the Dance Gavin Dance tour wasn't happening, and I was so sad. I was like, man, yeah,
I feel like it'd be like in a week from now.
Yeah, one thing hit, and it was supposed to be the first day of the tour, and they just kind of like, they were like, yeah, actually, because there were people lined up outside the venue at that point for the first leg of the tour when they got the email. That would have sucked.
Okay,
I've been real upset.
We're getting off topic here.
I was about to say.
1,000 Below. Good.
Stream it.
It's
real
so
good.
Yeah.
I can't remember what Jamesburg said on Twitter, but it's either the next song. I think he said the next song has screaming in it. So that's something to look forward to. Like it's supposed to be heavy. That, or he said that it's not going to be heavy. I can't actually remember which. Come to think of it, I'm like doubting myself now, trying to look back on it. Either way,
this next song is going to be heavy.
In conclusion, song's a banger. 1,000 Below bangs. Stream the song. Stream 1,000 Below. Support the homies. Real good.
So in conclusion, 1,000 Below are going to be releasing a song in the future, and it is either going to be heavy or it is not going to be heavy.
Yep,
it'll be lyrically
heavy. That is going to release.
I think we've covered pretty much every base there. I'm not gonna lie.
Wait. How far?
That was kind of the point.
How far are we in the podcast? Is it time for me to speak? Is the 30-minute? Is the 33-minute mark?
Hold on. Is this
where my it good come
Justin
from?
I don't know what time we're at, but you know what? Go for it.
It pretty good.
Yep, there it is. All right, that's a Patreon. Oh boy, we got we got a new song from a little band called Future Lows entitled "Broken." Their first song released on Spotify.
Yeah, it's their debut single, and I remember Justin, you put me onto this one. You linked it in the group chat, and I thought, you know what? That's pretty all right, especially for a debut single.
Right.
I remember the exact words when I sent it. It's like, you fucker, there was more music that released today. Why are you finding new music?
Like, you sent this to me the night that Normandie released their album, and it's like, okay, new music, yes, but Normandie just released a new album.
Look, you can't go wrong with more music. But I found these guys from the post-hardcore Reddit. They actually tweeted themselves and did a follow for for fans of Normandie, and was like, "Oh, Normandie just released today. I like Normandie." Click, and it actually, it's pretty good. They tout on their. All right, I probably shouldn't have read their description on their about page, but on the Spotify, they were inspired by Funeral for a Friend, Story of the Year, Good Charlotte, and The Used. and then as contemporaries of Holding Absence, Architects, and Dayseeker.
That is a list and a half.
That's like two sides of two different spectrums.
Right.
And if that's kind of the fusion we're going for, I think I can kind of dig it.
They're Irish? What
Apparently.
the? Oh, I didn't know that. Damn, when are we getting the bagpipes? Wait, no, is that Scotland? Is that Scotland? Dude, I am so uneducated. I realized it as soon as I said, hey, yo, trim that in post. Trim that in post.
A little late for that one.
Hey, look. I feel about this the same way that I did the first McKenna single that we listened to. That I think it's good. It's not super great, I don't think, but the fact that this is a debut single from a band, like the bar that these younger small bands are setting for the rest of like those more veteran seasoned bands is insane. Like they're coming out of the gate saying, "Look what we can do."
Yeah.
I mean, as a debut single, there are plenty of bands out there that put out a debut single and it sucks because they're trying to find their sound still, right? Like they don't know what they're doing. They're just putting themselves out there, get a feel for what's going on and go from there. This is really good as a just general song, let alone as a debut one. Like
this is just like a solid debut song. I think it's fair to say there's nothing about the song that is going to blow your mind.
No.
But there is nothing bad going on here in the slightest.
Yeah, you're gonna like what you're gonna get out of it, but you're not gonna get anything unique. And,
right. This band's got all the room in the world to grow.
If you're a fan of any of those bands I listened to or I listed off their about page, give them a shout. They only have almost
470. Yeah,
500 monthly listeners. Like we might be able to bump that up like one or two more.
Exactly. Well, get it. They certainly got one from me.
Hell
I don't know. Give this band your attention while you can, because I have a feeling that come a bit more YouTube promotion, come a bit more social media promotion, buzz around this band's gonna stir up. Yeah, exactly. You can say that you were there before 1,000 listeners, before they blew up. I do. I think this band's got a lot of potential. They're definitely on my radar from here on out.
I think that just about wraps everything up for that song there. So, While She Sleeps, they have a new song called You Are All You Need.
That's it. You are all you need. There.
This song is all you need. I am all I need. You are all you need.
You're all you need.
You are all I need.
I think these two are having a stroke, too.
Me am all me need. You Jacob is all I need.
Yes,
Jacob
embrace.
I think Derek just went through 4 different alternate realities.
I just went through like all 5 stages of grief at once. I've been broken. It's because I have to finally admit to myself that I like a While She Sleeps song and I don't really know what to do with myself.
What?
I think that's what it comes down to. I loved Silent Speaks for the longest time, and then one day I woke up and I was like, damn, I don't like this anymore. Gone, out of the playlist.
What is wrong with you?
I know it's a sin. I still feel bad about it. I got to, what was it, So What in 2019? Yeah, I hated that album. That was probably a bottom 10 album of the year for me. I'm not going to lie.
Justin,
I know.
I'm going to need some help here.
Look, man.
I don't know if you're
I listened to it once. I thought it was good. Went back to it and thought it was all right.
I'm alone
here. I
definitely not bottom 10 for me.
I didn't even like Sleep Society, right? But we get to this single. I hit first listen. I'm like, look, I love the instrumentals. Vocals aren't doing it for me. The vocal delivery's never really done it for me. I don't care. I gave it the second listen. By God, this is one of my favorite songs released this month. So good.
Is my favorite song released this month.
Let's go. Now I think the instrumentation is really what sells this for me. The vocals have grown on me. I'm to the point where I like them, but the instrumentals are just like that bow on top. That's like, look, we've given you the package. I'm going to seal it with this like great build up to an incredible tapping solo. I mean, it's just, yeah. I've suddenly, my excitement for this album that they're putting out soon went from like -30 to like seriously peaked. Right? Like I am now excited for a While She Sleeps album, and I didn't think I'd ever say those words, but yet here we are.
This, everything about the song, instruments, vocals, lyrics. I gotta read some.
Hit me with it.
I'm gonna read the chorus because it's so good. I'd rather be underrated, the minor, not the major. I don't need liberation, a higher state of being. I'd rather be hated, cursed instead of sacred. We're gonna set the record straight, no hidden fucking meaning. Basically, do whatever the fuck you want. Don't let anybody give you shit for anything.
Yup. That is one thing that I will applaud While She Sleeps for. Even if I didn't appreciate the songs, the lyrics themselves are almost always really good. Like, there's always something to unpack in every one of their songs, I feel like, which is a testament to their songwriting ability. This band's talented, no doubt. They just haven't been for me till this point, and I'm kind of excited that they are now, at least with this single. I thought... Exactly, the song is all I need, right? I thought it might be one of those deals where, like, I hear a good song from a band, I go back to their older material, like I did with Spirit Box, and now suddenly I, like, really love Spirit Box. It was not the case. I still don't like the rest of their older material, but at least with this, I've got While She Sleeps in my playlist, so I'm very excited to see where they are moving forward.
On the contrary, I was not able to get into the vocals on this one in comparison to Sleep Society, which worked a lot better for me. However, the riffs in this song are catchy as hell.
Yeah,
and I will give this song credit for that at the very least. It is undeniable that these riffs are catchy as fuck. So,
see, I'm in Jake's boat on this one. I couldn't get into it, but instrumentally it's good, and lyrically I thought it was solid, but like I just could not get into it vocally.
Speaking of somebody in this group not being able to get into certain vocal deliveries, we've got a new single from Our Hollow, Our Home named Remember Me.
Jake, I think you were just silently called out. I don't know about that.
No, it wasn't silently.
it was,
yeah, that's fair. I mean,
it was a little bit less than silent.
I mean, I also didn't like this, so it's fine.
Man, Jake, I want to hear your opinion on this first. I want to see, has it changed at all since your initial reaction to it?
No.
Well, worth a shot.
I will say that it's getting better than where I was on first listen, but it's still below the bar of something that I would want to go back to in my playlist. Where their Queen's vocalist from when I first heard Burn in the Flood, fantastic, even better in this song. The Queen vocals in this chorus are just amazing. I love it. And then we get to the Unqueens, and I'm not a huge fan of them. Once he starts to do those vocals that aren't as harsh in a couple parts of the song, I kind of like the vibe that he's got going for when he's doing, I don't know how to describe it. But there's some parts of the song where he's like not doing Unqueens.
Yeah.
And I definitely like that sound more. And then we get to the Rio feature. And I will stand by this with Rio is better in a feature than any song I've ever heard of him in Crystal Lake.
Yep.
So
I agree wholeheartedly. I'm with you on that one. I think every no. I'm gonna stand with Jake on this one. I think every Rio feature is a banger, certified. I have yet to really truly enjoy a Crystal Lake song. Yeah, it's good. I don't know. I don't have it in my playlist.
Come back after you see them live. You know what?
That's true.
After you see Crystal Lake live, your life will change.
That's another tour I missed out on. Fit for a King, Chelsea Grin, Crystal Lake, and whoever else was on that tour. There's one more band. That's another one that COVID took from me, and I'm really sad about it. I do. That's a band I need to see. Yeah, it was Alpha. Oh no!
Dude, I would have crossed the border for that.
Dude, if I, yeah, I know. I've seen footage of like Rio doing his feature on God of Fire live, and the dude is an absolute behemoth live. Like, at least from the footage, let alone seeing it in person. I'd probably like ascend on the spot. He'd hit some like really nasty low, and I would just like my soul would leave its body. Yeah, no, Our Hollow, Our Home is a band that I've known about for a couple of years now, and kind of had not a love-hate relationship with, but I've been very confused as to whether or not like I truly, truly love this band. Like they put out an album, I believe it was in 2018, that I thought every song on it was good, but it was missing that like little push over the edge, except for one song. Hold on, I believe it's called "Parting Gift," and that was 2018. Yeah, "In Moment in Memory." The song before the closer, "Parting Gift," is this incredible ballad with amazing buildup that I would recommend to anybody watching it. Whether or not you like this single is irrelevant. Please go listen to "Parting Gift." This single I feel like is good. It feels like it's missing a little bit of direction at some points. Like there's one point, I believe it's in the second verse, where the uncleans go into this little bit that I feel like it doesn't add anything. Like I don't know how to explain it. There's a section of the song that's there and it works for what it is, but I feel like it could almost not be there and the song would be the same. And I'm doing a horrible job of articulating it. But all that to say
I
that
don't know what you're talking about.
yeah, no, I've
much.
confused myself, so there's no way in hell any of you guys know what I'm talking about. But no, all that to say, I think that Our Hollow, Our Home are two singles in and are slowly, steadily building up my anticipation for this album. I mean, this is just another good single from a band that I feel like not enough people really talk about or know about. I want to see them with Bury Tomorrow. I feel like this band and Bury Tomorrow have a lot of similaries that they would work well together.
Yeah, actually,
maybe that's why I don't like them that as much as like other metalcore.
Honestly, maybe same here because Bury Tomorrow never really clicked with me either. So
yeah, see, meanwhile for me, Cannibal just barely missed my top 10 of last year. Yeah, no, I'm very interested to see where this album goes and what direction it goes. I'm always just a sucker for British metalcore. Like,
except for While She Sleeps, apparently.
Yeah, you know what? We're getting there. We're getting there. British metalcore is all I need.
Yeah. How about some Japanese metalcore? Crossfaith.
Who put out the only EP of 2020?
Yeah, also true. Also true.
Hey, come on, 1,000 Below did too. Come on, man.
No, I'm pretty sure Crossfaith put out the only EP.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm looking through, and I've on my list last year. I've got 296 albums and one EP from Crossfaith.
Yeah.
I guess you're right.
So anyway, Crossfaith released a new song called "Dead or Alive." I'm curious to see what you guys thought about this one.
Yeah.
Interesting. I finally like a Crossfaith song.
What? Okay, what is this? It's like the worst song to like.
I like it. I think it's good. The breakdown is sick.
Yeah. This is a solid Crossfaith. It's like Crossfaith can drop the ball really hard sometimes.
They did.
And
multiple times.
It's a sigh of relief when they release a song that's actually good like this one.
Yep.
And I'm happy to say that I have enjoyed the song. Now, this is by no means one of my favorite Crossfaith songs. They have a handful of songs that I like significantly more than this. But this is another solid Crossfaith song. Like when I get a new Crossfaith song, I want it to sound akin to this in some way. With like some nice unclean harsh vocals, some nice electronic elements in the mix, a sick breakdown in there. And you got a good Crossfaith song. And that's what I got here. So I'm happy.
Yeah, it took me a while. I didn't like anything Crossfaith put out last year. I haven't liked any of their previous discography. But we did it, boys. We got a Crossfaith song I'll enjoy. Whether or not I stick with that opinion in the next upcoming months will have yet to be seen, because I'm currently of the opinion that it is a good Crossfaith song, and I really like the breakdown, so it's in my good favor for now. Maybe I'll end up removing it in a week, or maybe this is the beginning of a new relationship between me and Crossfaith. Who knows? But if I get a bunch more singles like this, I would be happy.
Yeah, same. Crossfaith has been a band that I've had like quite a storied history with. Back to the whole Fixed thing. The vocalist of Crossfaith featured on a song from some artist on that Fixed label, and that's how I found Crossfaith back in like 2016. They're like probably one of the first metalcore bands that I ever got into, interestingly enough. And they've been kind of up and down over the years, but Yeah, no, I just thought it was interesting to I don't know. I have an interesting history with Crossfaith. That's all. I don't have too much more to say.
If it was about 5 years ago, it was with the Chemists.
Yep, that was it. Yep.
This
Y'all want to move on?
I was gonna say, yeah, this next one was a big shock to me about how much I loved this. A band called Red Hook has a new single out called Bad Decisions.
This is coming off of an upcoming EP entitled Bad Decisions, coming out in April, by the way.
Have we talked about this band before?
No, they released a song back in November called Cure for Psycho, which I thought was a little underwhelming, so I didn't throw it into the playlist back in November. This comes out and is by far the best thing they have ever done.
This fucking slaps.
This goes hard. This is extremely catchy. They turn sad, depressing lyrics into one of the most fun songs I heard all month.
Mhm.
And you get this sick rap verse right in the middle of the song, which has some insane lyricism to it. And overall, this song is just across the board fantastic.
Yeah, 2.5 minute run length, perfect for replaying.
Yeah, exactly. Super replayable. You get that chorus stuck in your head of I'm a fucked up mess, I'm sad and depressed, I make bad decisions or whatever.
Yep.
And it's just on repeat over and over.
There is this sexy little bass slap before the second verse that I can't get enough of. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know if that ever stood out to me, actually.
Oh man, I heard it first listen. I was like, yeah, I fuck with this. Like I was already vibing. I heard that and I'm like, yeah, get in the playlist. Like into the sin bin with you, right? Like
Yep.
I fucking love this. This is how I wish now this might be you've heard the new Icon for Hire album.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That is on my radar to get to in this upcoming week because I really wanted to get to it. This is how I wish Icon for Hire sounded on the rest of that other album.
That is such a good point. Holy shit.
Right? Like what? Hold on.
Such a good point.
Let me go Icon for Hire. What was that last album? Yeah, You Can't Kill Us. This is the direction that I wanted Icon for Hire to go into.
I think you might be pleasantly surprised then, to be honest.
Okay, good. I've heard actually good things about Amorphous, so I want to check it out. But you know, this single came out of absolutely nowhere and blew my mind. I've actually coincidentally found a couple more songs that kind of sound like this recently, and like it's within the past week too. They just kind of popped onto my radar and came out of nowhere and surprised the hell out of me. I mean, this is just really good. It's catchy. Yeah. It's repeatable. It's got surprisingly great moments instrumentally for what it is, right? Like great lyricism, great delivery.
Guitar riffs too.
Yeah, overall, just like surprisingly one of my favorite songs of the month, and a month packed with great songs.
Definitely.
Got another great song.
Before we move on to that,
the
last thing I want to mention is that Red Hook they've just been releasing singles since like 2018, and I've been following them since late 2018. I found them pretty early on. They like showed up in my release radar way back. And it's nice to see them actually get to a stage where they're going to put out a full EP at this point, because I'm very excited for it. They have been releasing like consistently good singles with a couple of hits in between. I think most notably being their song Fake. If you haven't listened to Fake yet, Derek, I definitely recommend going back to that one.
This was my first experience with this band.
Fake was great. Bad Decisions is the next step up for this band, and I'm really excited to hear the EP come April.
Of course, they're Australian. Fuck's sake.
Yep. Let's get back to what you were saying. Let's move on to this next song.
Yup.
Never Tell are back with another song called Back on Me.
Banger.
True.
Yeah. Everything in My Mind, their previous single, didn't do it for me. This one
What?
did it for me.
Yep. Nope. I agree. This is the first Never Tell song in a long time that I have felt very, very, very happy about.
I am visibly broken by this. I feel like you guys talked good about the last single because I adored it. Like, it was really good.
It was good, but it wasn't super memorable to me.
Yep.
This is memorable.
This is like
I'm on the opposite side.
Tell me, I heard the intro, and I was like, "This sounds like Personal by Point North." And then I listened to the rest of the song, and I was like, damn, this sounds like Point North. But I feel like it sounds like all the best parts of Point North, and then is subsequently better than those best parts.
And you throw some rap elements in there too.
Exactly. I fucking love this song, man. It's so good. The vocal delivery here is insane.
And the drop too,
Smooth.
where it just says sometimes I just want to die, and you get into that drop. That's like super catchy. It gets stuck in your head fast. And then they switch it up right at the end of the song. They kind of bait you into thinking the song's gonna end, then they just turn it up a notch as well, which I thought was a fantastic decision.
Yeah.
Overall, I have not enjoyed a song by Nevertell since they released All Good back in 2019. And
it's about where I'm at.
Yeah, like I still think All Good is their best song, and I want to say it's not close, but this is kind of close. I'm definitely excited to see where they're going in the future based on this song.
You know,
I don't know. This song was good. I agree. I do adore his vocal delivery, and the chorus is nice. The electronic parts actually are probably my least favorite from this song, but by no means is that bad. I also was kind of thrown off a little bit how the song kind of ended abruptly. But otherwise, it's good. I feel like everything on my mind is still like better, just because I listened to the song, it didn't really click with me much, and then I watched the music video and kind of watched the Clean's vocalist just do a scream. And apparently that isn't going to be the only scream they do on the album. I don't think it's I think there's going to be one other song that has screams in it. From what he teased. But apart from that, like that's probably why I adore the song, and also just hearing the rap vocals on it. I don't know. Everything on mine is good. I think it's better than Back on Me, but not by much.
Yeah, very, very, very much excited for what's going forward.
I think they have something else they're teasing in March, and it might be album release date, or at the very least another single.
Jacob, did you get a chance to listen to this?
Nevertell, yes.
Nevertell? Yeah. What'd you think about it?
I liked it.
Good. Okay, we're all in agreement that it's good.
Yep.
We'll take it. We'll take it after some of the previous disagreements we had here.
I find an effect on this one, boys.
Yeah, thank God.
I don't think we can argue. I don't think we can argue with the next one in good conscience.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I think the Hivemind's gonna be an effect on this next one too.
Fucking Rory Rodriguez does it again with Hurt Wave, Black and Blue. This is probably the first song I've had repeating since Bleach. I think this is probably my new favorite. I'm stuck between this, New Year's Eve, and Bleach.
I'm at a point where I don't know if they can top New Year's Eve right now with how good that song is. But Black and Blue is still a fantastic song, so it's another fantastic addition to the Hurt Wave discography for me.
I'm gonna get some flack for this. I can feel it already.
I feel like I have the same opinion as you.
Okay, is it about the song or this project?
Okay, never mind. I don't have it.
Okay, yeah. I am starting to like Hurt Wave more than Dayseeker.
That's a bold statement.
I retroactively went back and listened to my 2019 albums of the year. Sleep Talk by Dayseeker is chilling at number 2. Great album. I'm not as high on it now as I was then. I'm looking at Hurt Wave, and Hurt Wave is 6 for 6, right? Like this sort of chilled down version of Roy Rodriguez, I almost, and especially in like songs like Already Numb or Starving to Be Empty, right? On Sleep Talk, I almost like more than the more aggressive vocal on, rock instrumental version of Roy Rodriguez. Like those stripped down covers he's been posting to Twitter, I like a lot more. I don't know. There might be something wrong with me. I know that there's absolutely zero agreement from the rest of
see,
everybody here, but
see,
I get the sentiment though.
No,
Yeah.
I'm also in somewhat of the same boat. And then I go back to his Doomsday cover, and I fall in love with everything he's ever done, always.
right,
So
right. I don't know. I guess
it's a conflicting, like, two sides of my brain, but
yeah.
Burial Plot, Starving to Be Empty, Already Numb, like those are probably
Yeah,
the ones
I'm
that
at the point where my
they're more
favorite
memorable.
Dayseeker songs are the ones where there are no uncleans in them and the instrumentals are toned down. Not to say that I don't like the rest, but I feel like they're almost a step below the others. So I'm getting something like Her Wave, and I'm like, damn, this really lends itself more to Rory's voice. I think personally.
Now-
I'm not saying Dayseeker is bad. It's like this is like a 9.5 on 10. Dayseeker's like a 9 on 10. Like, don't kill me.
Now, here's my counter argument.
Oh, no.
Do you prefer how they're releasing stuff for Night Therapy 1, doing it one at a time?
No,
Neither do I.
no.
I wish stuff like New Year's Eve, New Year's Eve as a surprise song would like make this EP or this project EP, I guess, top.
New Year's had to release on New Year's Eve though.
Yeah, there's no way you don't. I don't know. I get it because it's the first release from the project. I feel like moving forward, if they do this again, I'm not going to be super like keen on it. Like it's for me, and I'll talk about this a little bit later as well. But it's the too close to touch effect, right? Like I get 1 3-song EP, and I'm like, man, this is sick. And I get another 3-song EP, and I'm like, okay, well, I like this. And then I get a third one. I'm sitting here like, well, why don't you just give me an album? Like I'd prefer that to the 3-song EPs every once in a while. It's the same sort of concept here, where it's like, okay, we get 3 singles. I'm glad we're getting a constant stream of music. I'd prefer to just have 3 singles and then an EP, or 3 singles and then an album. So for their first EP and like getting exposure and letting each individual song have time to build, I get it. I understand it. Moving forward past Night Therapy 1 for say Night Therapy 2, I would love to have 3 singles and then 3 surprise singles for an EP.
I also want if they when they do Night Therapy 2, I want them to, it's titled Night Therapy 1 and 2, by the way.
Yeah.
When they do Night Therapy 2, I want a color palette change. Just because I feel like a lot of the album arts that they're doing for each of the individual single, they're wonderful, but I feel like if you do Night Therapy 2, you definitely gotta change that, or else it's gonna blend in with what you have with Night Therapy 1.
Right now, I feel like they're trying to build hype for the project. For Night Therapy 2, I need them to build hype for the release.
Right.
Yeah,
but
I think that's fair.
all that to say that this is a fantastic song, and Roy Rodriguez's voice is incredible. Like you can't miss, right? Like you can't go wrong with this. Like
they already have 62,000 monthly listeners on Her Wave.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if you release each individual single, right, every once in a while, then it gives more opportunity for exposure, as opposed to, like, if you're thinking about it in terms of tweets, you've got 6 tweets of exposure per song, as opposed to maybe 3 for a song and then 1 for a release, right? So I get it, but like we've said, I think they need to do it differently moving forward. I hope they do it differently moving forward.
Yeah, and here's the thing. That has more monthly listeners than Noya has, and that's a crime.
That is.
Noya's real good.
I think I will be the one to
I thought they were at like 80.
No, Noya's at 54.
Oh, they might have gone down.
Yeah, it probably dipped because the album's been out for a while now.
Yeah, and also through people like with their end of year list going through. But.
Let's move on then. We got a couple small bands coming up here. Outside Our Heart have a new song called Anyone But You.
But
I don't know.
You are all you need.
You got it. Okay, fair. I really like this song, and I also really like this band. They are 3 for 3 at this point. We talked about Like the Rest a while back, and was low-key one of the most underappreciated songs of 2020, in my opinion. It had some incredible lyricism. It was super catchy and all that. And I think this one is a step down, but not by much, and it is following in that same catchy direction that they have set up for themselves. This is just a fun, upbeat song, and I've mentioned it before with a couple other songs where it has more of a structure like an EDM song, where you get a chorus that builds into a bit of a drop, and I think it just works really well. It's just a fun song to listen to.
I didn't have a chance to get to this one, unfortunately.
Me either.
It's a good song. That's all I'll say. I'm definitely excited to see where this band goes in the future. I don't have a ton more to say about it because it didn't stick with me for too long. That's more so to go with like just how many other incredible releases there were this month. It just didn't stand out to me like some of the other ones did. But I definitely will still absolutely recommend checking out Outside Our Heart. Especially go back to Like the Rest, which we covered in August, I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
Yeah,
Outside.
right. Yeah. Fantastic song. This is one of the hidden gem bands that I am most actively interested in what they are doing for the future. I'm very excited for this band, so I don't got too much more to say. I know that was pretty quick, and I know that Derek is also gone for the moment, so I don't know if he had anything to say. But
Bad for
I'm
him.
kind
He
of
missed his opportunity.
I'm kind of good to move on. So
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. You gotta go subscribe to our eventual Patreon to get Derek back in the podcast.
Yeah, you have to unlock
back.
him.
What I
Damn
missed.
it! No, Derek, you're not supposed to be back yet.
Oh,
you have
sorry.
any comments on
Yeah, you DLC that. Any comments on Outside Our Heart?
Oh, yeah, it was good. I put that. I just you're subscribing to hear me and Justin do the same 3-second soundbite. No, I this was very the way I like to put it is vocally satisfying. Like I very much enjoyed this. This was the single this month that I feel like I need the most amount of time with to grow on me, and I haven't given it that due time yet. I heard it on first listen. I'm like, this is good. For like a lot of singles that kind of underwhelm me this month, I heard them and I was like, yeah, this is okay or this is good. I don't feel the need to revisit this. This was the single this month that I heard it. I said, this is good. I need more time with this. Because the guitar solo was nice. The vocals were fantastic. I just, the parts are there. I just need some more exposure with it. And frankly, I haven't given it its due time yet. But
yeah, I think that's about it for that one, to be honest. Justin, it's your time again, my friend.
What?
Oh, wait, there's a donut wall.
oh yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
we're moving on past Justin's opinion.
I already said that.
Yeah, the poor soul that's going to be looking for the Patreon that's just not there. There's going to be somebody who, like, up to this point, like, didn't get it, and they're like, go into the description. I'm like, where is it? Like, where's the link? I can't find it.
Yeah, I'm just
commented out, guys. Where's the Patreon?
No, I'm just gonna link it. It's gonna be a Bitly link. That's just gonna be my PayPal.
No, you should Rickroll. Do a Rickroll.
Yo.
No,
Anyway,
not anymore with the bullshit that's going on with it.
Oh,
Anyway.
yeah.
OST. New song called Voices, featuring Julian of Loveless.
Fucking Julian Camaro. Cameo. I was about to say
Camaro?
Camaro.
Kamehameha.
Dude, there's
Kamehameha.
you know what? Horribly incorrectly. Oh God.
Cut this out.
Dude.
Yeah, no.
He got Kamea into Kamehameha. I am in physical pain. I'm like punching the air right now. Like
Clenched fist.
Yeah, I'm done.
Jake, just cut this part out.
Yeah, cut in post.
How about no?
Yeah.
Oh, man,
so this is part of a EP with fucking Rory Rodriguez, James DeBerg, Andy Kizek, and Anxiety.
Which I think we talked about most of those songs before.
Yeah, we've already talked about them, and then one of them's a remaster of an old one. And fucking Julian can't go wrong.
Julian is just fucking everywhere, bro.
He's everywhere. He's
Good for him.
He's a music producer. We're gonna be talking about one of the songs that he produced in about three more songs, unless there's some shenanigans with moving, which it probably will be.
There won't be. I'm sure of it.
But yeah, it's Julian, and he sounds great. And Lesty makes him sound better.
Is
Yeah,
this?
That's basically, you just summed up everything I had to say about this song, Justin.
Yeah. So Justin, you've heard the EP, right? This is also off of.
Yeah.
All right. Is this your favorite song off the EP?
No.
Oh, never mind then.
No, because Paralyzed is my favorite.
Okay, then let me go back to the Last EP real quick. Hold on, give me a minute. What's your least favorite song?
Dissipate, just because I haven't had much time on that.
Wow.
Probably,
Okay. Oh for
probably-
2. All right. Never mind. Never mind.
Probably
You can
move
find out what Justin's least favorite and favorite songs were on the Patreon.
Oh my god.
I
I was drinking water during that. I'm pretty sure I almost
this
choked.
ruse for over a fucking hour.
What it ruse? Ruse?
Oh yeah, right. What ruse? I don't know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
come on,
about.
man.
Look, the title of this episode is gonna be Justin DLC.
Yeah, exactly. Or something with the Patreon, something like that. So this we're not in agreement on any front on what our favorite and least favorite are, which is a damn shame because I was
Well-
hoping to have some sort of a mutual agreement there.
Well,
but this,
what are you looking at on yours?
okay, so this is my favorite song off the EP.
Okay.
My least favorite is "Fooled by a Dream," and it's not even close.
Yeah, that's fine. I was going to say if I had more time with Dissipate, probably feel full by.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah,
You know,
because that's a remaster.
Yeah, it's very interesting to me that outside of "Haunting Me" by Loveless, which is my favorite Loveless song, I feel like it's almost the Rio effect, right? That every feature that Julian does on a song, I instantly love that song, as opposed to the solo Loveless material, which I still like, but I'm a bit more skeptical about. Like, I don't know. I really like his voice here. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about it this month, but did you listen to the American Avenue and Loveless Justin Bieber cover?
I did. I didn't pay enough attention to it to form an opinion yet.
That's fair.
It was something I listened to in passing because I saw it was out, and I was doing something else while I listened to it, and so I just I didn't give it its due time.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I think you would like it.
you know, either way, this is a great song. Julian's voice fits very well with the instrumentals that Alessi have put together here.
And I'm glad to see Loveless on an EP with Rory and James
Right.
and Andy.
Now,
Yeah, this Celesti guy, he has put together quite the list of features.
He
Yeah.
always does, though.
Like, it's ridiculous.
He always does. Like, he worked with Andy a while back. He did one with Robin Adams. I'm trying to see.
So when are we getting the Alesti X Philip Strand song?
ooh, that would be good.
I am surprised that hasn't happened already.
So when are we getting that? I want it.
We've had Paul Bartolome have Philip on 2 singles and 2 different albums, but Alesti hasn't gotten Philip on 1 yet.
Got to get on that.
Yeah,
Is there anything more to say about this one here?
I'm all good.
No, I'm chilling.
One Morning Left have a new song called "Sinners Are Winners."
I'm conflicted.
Yeah, I'm also conflicted.
I just don't like this band.
I also am not a fan.
This band had me very interested with Neon Highway back in December.
Yep.
And then these last 2 singles have both leaned more into just traditional metalcore that I don't think works nearly as well for their sound.
It's like parody crabcore is what it is.
Kind of.
And I don't know how to feel about it. Like what I've gathered from going back and giving some of their like older material a listen is that they're trying to not take themselves seriously and put out like stuff that's supposed to be a parody of the scene or whatever, while keeping true to some of those early 2010s electronically influenced metalcore. Like you mentioned, Neon Jaime had me really intrigued. Like, that was a very unique sound.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what else is this band gonna put out? And then we got Ruby Dragon and Sinners Are Winners, where I'm sitting here like, okay, these songs are good or whatever, but it feels like in trying to parody those earlier bands, they're doing it in a way that sounds like those earlier bands too much for it to be like as unique as Neon Highway was.
Mhm.
So I'm leaving these songs like, okay, they were good. I've heard this a million times. The parody aspect of it wasn't blatant enough for me to come back to it in a way that like Hypa Hypa by Eskimo Callboy was supposed to be like a parody of a lot of like Eurovision stuff, right? Like that's clear. That's tangible, and the song's better for it. This, I'm just sitting here left with good song. I don't really see any appeal in coming back to it. You know,
I think in comparison to Ruby Dragon, which kind of felt similarly underwhelming, I think this is definitely a step up. I feel like it has a more memorable chorus at the very least, and a pretty sick guitar solo as well in the second half of the song. But it's still not enough to keep me wanting to come back to it in the way that Neon Highway did, as we've already mentioned. I'm still interested to see what they do, because I think Neon Highway is an interesting enough sound to where like there should be at least a couple other songs.
There's gotta be. Surely we get at least one.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of all I have to say.
Oh, me as well.
Moving on, then, we have a new band for the podcast here in Landless with their new song called Nobody. This is another one of those Dreambound gems, similar to like McKenna, which just showed up on Dreambound one day and is now like one of my favorite hidden gems. Landless comes out of nowhere. They released this song and it got my attention fast. I have been listening to it quite a bit throughout the month.
Quite a month.
Yeah, I have gone back to the song quite a bit throughout the month. I think really with the song, it just has a really nice chorus. It's simple but really effective and memorable. I have it noted down here. It says, "We know we're not perfect. We strive to prove that we're worth it. We know we're not perfect. This is who we are." And like, it's not super complex. It's just very easy, and it's very repeatable. And I think that's what makes it work so well. And I think the vocal delivery with it also helps. So
I was pleasantly surprised by the like almost atmospheric instrumentals and how the vocals really blended well together with them. This, being a single coming off of a second EP they put out 2 years ago. I went back and listened to Blooming Mind, and that is far heavier than I thought they would do. It's fairly heavy, and probably one of the reasons why is there were more trendier songs. But this one in general, like, this sounds fairly like well done. I'm anticipating hopefully something like an album coming out this year for it. I feel like this is was set to release their debut album in 2021. So, if this is the start and what their sound is going to be like for this album, I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's a solid sound for sure.
Derek, what do you think?
It was good. Another one that I feel like I need a bit more time with. Dreambound, like you mentioned, has been putting out some real bangers recently.
Yeah.
It feels like, for me, my opinion of Dreambound beforehand, like I guess in previous years, was that like, oh, this is a band or not a band, but a channel where I maybe get one good song out of like every 10 to 15, and like the other ones are all right, but I won't come back to them. Whereas recently, it feels like they've been putting out a lot of good material much more frequently. And I don't know if that's a selection choice on their point, or if bands are just getting better, or what's up. But suddenly, a lot of bands popping up on my radar that are like, oh shit, like where did they come from? I need to know where they're going in the future. Like, no, very, very good song. Do we know what's going on with them? Like, do we have a EP attachment?
No, I read it out earlier. Debut album 2021.
Okay, thank God. Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, no. Okay, cool. Do we know? Did they mention like anywhere in 2021, or just a year and we have to sit and wait?
Sit and wait. Sitting and waiting. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's what it is. I mean, as long as we get permission.
I will happily sit and wait for it. So.
Exactly. Yeah. This puts them on my radar. Gets me peaked and honestly excited to see where this goes, especially if it's only up from here.
Hey, yep. I'm still waiting for that second Born of Osiris album that was supposed to come out in 2019.
Right. Exactly.
Maybe not so happily waiting for that one.
Right.
At this point.
It's turned from anticipation to anger, right? Like I can't wait for it versus where's my fucking album?
You said we would get 2.
Apparently this one's supposed to be longer, like twice as long as the other one. So
also,
fingers crossed.
Touching back on my list just a little bit. They're Slovakian?
Huh?
Slovakia.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I didn't even know they could make music there.
Wow.
Wow.
No.
Jesus.
Think about it. Who the fuck else do you know that makes like what Slovakian bands do we listen to?
Oh, fuck
Right?
you know.
Landless.
That's my point. Okay, well, okay, thank you, Jake. I know that's an interesting one.
Next month we're talking about waterless.
Fuck.
Hairless.
Then we got a gasless and
I mean, guys, we have loveless, traceless, landless,
timeless.
heartless.
oh jeez.
Anyway,
Man,
let's just move on before we get too sidetracked.
They really these bands have like they put less like off to the side and then they like blindfold themselves and take a dartboard. And they've got like different words from the dictionary and they're like and it hits it and they're like, all right,
That
break
one
this
sounds
list.
nice.
I really want someone's like top EPs and top singles just to be filled with bands that end in less.
Less. Yeah, exactly. We got a lunchless, deskless.
Oh my god.
Throw another dartboard. We got closetless.
Dartless. Run out of
Dartless.
darts.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Just throw yourself at the dartboard.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I got those hospital bills. We got a cashless.
Oh my god.
Jake has
Not
been
up
trying
here.
so hard to get us back.
Jake's been trying to transition. We're just like, oh yeah, but this dartboard. Yeah, Jake punching the air. God bless. We've got a new song from Hivemind favorite Citizen Soldier. They're back again.
Hallelujah. We transitioned.
I'm not dead.
So this
That's the
is
name of the song, all right.
this is off of a 24-track dual album.
Oh, what
Yeah, and so we're probably going to be hearing singles for the next 2 years, guys.
Hold on. Run it back. We got a full length last year.
Yep.
4 months ago.
This year, we're getting a 24-track double album.
Yep.
How? Why?
Dude,
It is.
What?
It is titled "This Is Your Sign."
Whatever month
Part-
that is. Oh.
Yeah, this is technically off of part 2, I believe. This is off. This is
Okay.
Your Sign part 2.
So are they releasing congruently, or is
I have no idea. Probably.
You're
with
supposed to know these things.
Probably with how the last album went.
1 month our playlist is just gonna be half Citizen Soldier.
Let me see if I can find out. Actually, I'm gonna investigate.
They're probably with how they did with the last album. Probably. I haven't seen anything for. We normally see them around the start of the month. Is when we normally see releases. We haven't seen anything yet as of recording this, but likely they may put something out in the next week or so.
Aha. Okay.
Intel.
Yes. So each part is 12 songs. Wait, no, I lied to you. Part 1 is 12 songs. Never mind. I truth to you. It says God fuck. I've run out of space on the dartboard, man.
We've run out of darts too.
So the tweet February 3rd is your story has just begun. We present to you This Is Your Sign. 2 years, 24 songs. So it's looking like part 1 this year, part 2 next year.
Yeah, probably.
Ooh.
Yeah. So guys, we're not gonna stop talking about these guys. I want you guys to know.
We're not tired of Citizen Soldier.
No. But let's actually talk about this song and how it's good.
Yeah,
It's good.
It's another solid song from them.
Yeah, I'd say this is on the upper half of if
I
it were
agree.
on down the rabbit hole, this is on the upper half of that album.
Yeah, everything has been a step up since Relentless, I feel like, and it just keeps getting better. I don't know. One thing I will say is that I feel like this feels like it fit in place on Down the Rabbit Hole to me. Am I alone there?
My concern is that every song they're going to release from now on is going to sound like something that could have gone down the rabbit hole.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
And I'm really hoping I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, I'm fine with them finding their groove and their style, but I'm hoping that we get something that switches it up a bit, because otherwise we're basically getting 3 of the same album, which for maybe a band that I'm deeply in love with. Like, I don't know, say Dance Gavin Dance gives me the same album 3 times in a row. Like, I'm fine with that, right?
You would have
what Amaranth has done.
you
for
have
me.
you would
Right.
have like 20 additional vinyls than you already do.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But then see, for Citizen Soldier, who I like, but I'm not super high on, if I'm getting 3 of the same album for their sophomore, junior, and senior releases, right? I guess, or do you even use the high school terms after the second one? I've never heard anything call it a junior, whatever. For the second, third, and fourth albums, right? Like, I feel like the second and third are a good time for you to branch out and experiment as opposed to sticking to whatever. And then you've got 3 albums where you can see what the response is, and then you find your sound from there. I don't know. I'm intrigued to see how the rest of the singles pan out.
Yeah, I'm afraid that if there isn't much deviation, there's gonna be a lot of fatigue. And with this particular band, if we're gonna be talking about them every month, and it's it's just kind of a similar sound, I feel like they're just gonna taper off, and not really meaning anything in the long run. Although, like I say that, and they have like Would Anyone Care has over 3 million listens. Hallelujah, I'm Not Dead already has 100,000, and this released 2 weeks ago, last week. 24th, last week.
Something to point out too is that because of when they released it, if it's 12 tracks, they can't actually do the same thing they did with the last album, where they released one song at a time. Like, we have to save at least a couple for the album that won't get released as singles. That's another thing I hope they change.
Well, they did 2 months, 2 tracks.
Oh, was it 2 tracks? Oh, they could still do that with this one.
Yeah, they did 2 months, had 2 releases.
I don't know. Being upfront and honest, if we get this album, this upcoming one, the part 1, and it sounds the same as Down the Rabbit Hole, I will probably, like, full disclosure, not listen to part 2. Because if I'm just gonna get the same album over and over again, like, why would I bother listening?
Here's the thing,
right? Like,
this is off part 2. I don't know if they're gonna do part 1, part 2 before part 1.
That's right.
Or if they're gonna half and half.
That would be something.
Weird.
Now, see that I could get behind. If there was a single every month and we alternated between the parts, so by the time we got to the album, it's like, oh, well, you've heard like 6 songs off of part 1 and 6 songs off of part 2. That would be acceptable.
Yeah.
I could go for that. That's actually really interesting. This one's off part 2.
I do want to tie it back to your point of like fatigue, because I was already like, by the end of the release cycle of Down the Rabbit Hole, I was getting to a point of fatigue of hearing their songs every month, even though they are good.
Right.
So I am a little worried about that happening again.
Oh, also,
that's the danger of that sort of release cycle, right? Like, you keep your name in people's mouths, but it's almost suffocating, right?
Also, I want to amend, this is off part 1, not part 2. I was mixing up the color schemes, because they have part 2 is kind of a cyan, kind of bluish color, and part 1's purple.
All in all, I think that this is a very good song. It's just another good Citizen Soldier song.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see where they head in terms of sound, in terms of ways they release things. Overall, there's a lot of mystery here that could make or break this album, I feel like, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
And then could either leave the next 2 years in mediocrity, or
right,
can really like define this band.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. But we got a new song from Hollowfront featuring Ryan Kirby of Fit for a King, titled "Falling Apart." Ryan Kirby is, besides being the lead singer for Fit for a King, is also this band's manager. Interesting little tidbit. I didn't know that either until probably about a week ago. How are we feeling about this one? Yeah.
I really liked the opening for this song. It felt like really cinematic. Like the opening intro up until the first chorus, and then it kind of just became underwhelming for me from that point.
Yeah.
I still haven't really had that song that fully clicked with me from Hollowfront yet, so I'm kind of just waiting for that to happen at this point.
Yeah, this song has a lot of atmosphere, which is not quite what I expect from the same band that gave me Loose Threads, right? Like, I feel like oh fuck, my throat got really dry there, and I knew I was gonna like cough or some shit in the middle of my sentence, so I tried to take the swig of water and it made it worse.
Water bottle DLC.
Yeah, true. Yeah, no, I don't know. Loose Threads, to me, it had some atmospheric moments, but overall, it felt like a very more so a brutal album that had a story to tell. and for all intents and purposes, I really liked it. Right, like Ghosted and Vagabond are two of my favorite metalcore songs that came out last year. Like I very much enjoyed it. This, I saw that Holofront was releasing a song, and I saw that Ryan Kirby was going to be on it, and I'm like, damn, this is an instant banger. And then I listened to it, and I'm like, okay, it's good. I don't know if I ever want to listen to this again.
Yeah.
And not in a bad way per se. It's just like I don't feel like there's anything here that's drawing me back in to re-listen to it. Right? Like it's just atmospheric enough. It's just heavy enough. It's nothing about this super stands out to me. It's just all like a 7 on 10 in every part of it.
It checks off all the boxes of metalcore.
Right. I wanted something from a band that's as talented as these guys are with a feature that good. I want something that checks all the boxes and goes beyond. And I don't feel like this quite hit that mark. But I will say that I believe that they've either hit the studio currently or have just finished LP2. So we may get a new album towards the end of this year or early next year. And this band doesn't stop. I mean, they're just going. And for what it's worth, I mean, like I feel like oftentimes when bands do that and just immediately go back into the writing process, some of the material suffers. But if this next album is anywhere near as good as Loose Threads was, I think we're in for a pleasant surprise. I just wish that this song had something that was a little bit more.
I don't have too much more to add. I don't know if you guys have anything, but Half-Hearted. They have a new song out called "Seeing in Color."
This, for me, blends in a lot with Be My Religion.
Yeah,
I feel like it's got that same vibe.
Yeah, I think "Be My Religion" was better.
I agree.
"Be My Religion" definitely had more memorable moments to it. It had a catchier chorus for sure. I feel like "Seeing in Color" lacks some punch, where it all feels like it. I feel like there isn't anything that like separates the verses from the chorus. It kind of just all goes.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
It's just like there isn't much that makes me want to come back to it, given like that it has a lot of similar vibes to some of their other songs that I think do this better.
Right. Yeah, that's about where I'm at too. I feel like each one of these individual singles that they've released has been good. Right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think that even that 2020 album, Trading Time, the closer, one of my favorites of last year, and one of my favorite closers of last year for that matter. Every song they've put out feels like it's good or great, but I'm missing that like oomph, especially from this single. You know?
Yeah.
Like I don't quite know how to articulate it, but every like a lot of their singles have had hooks that are catchy, but I'm waiting for that one that's got that like massive hook or some incredible instrumental thing that draws me back and makes me want to play that song on repeat as opposed to just putting it in the playlist. Like this band is
that's what Two of Us did for me. Two of Us was that song that just like I listened to it and it had that super catchy hook to me. A Gossip too, in a sense, which had an incredibly vibey chorus. Like this song's not bad by any means. I just don't think it's to the level of some of their other material.
I feel like every single prior to this was sort of like, in a sense, in certain ways, one-upping it. Like the previous single before it for me. Like everything was good and it just kept getting better. This kind of feels like we've stagnated a little bit, at least for me. I don't know. This band is past the point where they click for me. Like we're at that point. I want it to the point where then I can say, okay, this is a really great band that I can consider one of my favorites. Right? Like they've definitely got the potential to get there. I'm just waiting for it to happen. I don't think Seeing in Color, even though it's a good song, really did that for me.
Yeah. Justin, do you have any thoughts on this one?
No, I mentioned this in passing, but Half-Hearted kind of fallen off for me. Just because a lot of their song kind of just sounds similar to me and hasn't really clicked with me since I believe. Look here,
Vicious Cycle, probably.
Vicious Cycle, or probably Better Without You.
Got it.
You know, interesting to see what 2021 has for Half-Hearted. You know, it's a new year. We'll see what comes of it.
What about this new single from Shrezzers Demure featuring Lucas from Veil of Maya.
On release day, I'm pretty sure we were all pretty divided on this. Or
Yes, this one was definitely a divisive one.
Didn't all three of you think it was?
Yeah, I was about to
better
say,
or
or
worse
we had
than-
three of the same opinion, and Derek was just off in the corner.
I think that's what it was. I
Yep.
think I was the only one who liked this more than Phoenix.
I'm gonna say, after
Oh.
a couple listens, I think this is better.
Let's go! Finally,
Justin.
somebody in my camp.
So
Justin, you've joined the dark side.
what
I choose my alliances wisely.
what I think about this is okay. How do I explain this? It's like I wish it was like 1,000 Below Lost Between, where you see the Marcus Bridge feature and you're like, oh, this is gonna be fucking heavy, and then you get it and it's not heavy at all, but it's still
That's-
really good, right?
Mhm.
That's
This is like
kinda-
the opposite. I don't know. Maybe it's not the
Yeah,
No,
opposite.
I absolutely get what you're saying.
Yeah, no, I agree, because like that's why I'm like not as high on this as I was when Phoenix was originally out. Because Phoenix, I adored the moment I listened to it. This one took me a couple, just because I couldn't get behind Lucas's Uncleans toward the end of the song. But I just kind of started listening to him, and the instrumentals in itself, in itself, are probably the main reason why I keep coming back to this. Just because of the vibe.
Yeah. The reason this clicked with me on first listen is because I heard it even before I got to the end, the fade out, everything like that. I heard this song maybe about a minute and a half in. I said, this is going to be the closer in the album. Just like that. And I will eat my words if it isn't. If it isn't, that is a horrible choice on their part. I'm putting that one out there right on the table. This has such big closer energy to it. And I think that's part of the reason why I liked it more than Phoenix on first listen. Because Phoenix for me is, I mean, I still adore Phoenix. I don't like it any less than when I heard it. If nothing else, I like it more. But to me, this just exudes the proper energy to close an album. And it's like palpable. Like you can feel it. And if I were to listen to this song as a single, like it's in the middle of the album, then absolutely I think Phoenix is the better song. If I go into the song with the mindset that this is the closer, then this song instantly becomes a smash hit for me, which is why, because I identified that so early on, at least for me, that made it all the much better than Phoenix. Like obviously, like having Lucas at the end of the feature, or at the end of the song rather, it makes no sense, right? Like if this is like track 6 on the album, what's the point, right? Like do like a Marcus Bridge feature, right? Where you like Toby was saying, right? That you make that. You give him the clean vocals, and then have him do a little bit of uncleans in the background at the end. Like it's perfect. It's a great middle of the album sort of thing. Him having his cleans at the end there only makes sense if it's a closer. So if you haven't listened to it in the mindset that this is the closer of the album, I challenge you to and see if your opinion on it changes.
I will let you know on that later.
If they fumble the bag and this isn't the closer, I'm throwing hands. Whoever makes that decision and puts this at like track 7 out of 10 needs to be shot on sight. Like I do.
Jeez.
I think this has potential to be closer of the year 2021 if they put it at the end of the album. No lie.
I also want to throw out Diego's vocals in here and just be like, he was a beautiful pick for this band.
Yes.
Yep.
He does a wonderful cleans vocals.
Perfect fill-in.
Absolutely.
Sax
Yeah,
sounds as good as ever. Guitar sounds as good as ever. What's not to love? Right? Like
Not going to disagree with anything you guys have said. This song just has not clicked with me.
that's fair.
It just
Okay.
hasn't. It doesn't. It's lacking, similar to Half-Hearted, it's lacking the punch. And
Is part of it the structure?
Kinda. I just feel like I go from the verse and I'm like kind of vibing with the verse, and then I go into the chorus and I feel like not much changes, and I'm kind of just underwhelmed when I listen to it.
Yeah. I feel like the structure of this is probably its weakest point because it's formulaic, right? Like you got verse, chorus, instrument of choice. Verse, chorus, instrument of choice.
I don't even
Verse,
think
chorus, instrument of choice, breakdown.
I don't
Like-
even think that. I think if the instrumentals were actually a bit more pronounced, I feel like this would have more of a
Yeah.
do it.
Okay.
I think what the song needs is clean vocals from Lucas.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is hella true.
You get a
That is
Lucas,
hella
you get a
fucking
Lucas feature. You need to do a lot more with it than I feel like this did.
Yeah.
I agree.
So speaking of, do we want to move on then?
I'd say so.
Because that's not the only Veil of Maya we got this month. Because they also released a new song called Viscera. Is that how you say the word? I hope.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
Yes. Yeah.
Mascara.
No. No.
I'm just
How
kidding.
could you? How could you? I physically recoiled a little bit, like hearing that. Like, oh man, this is really good. Yeah, gents, gents. This is like, to me, instrumentally classic Veil of Maya.
Yeah.
Like there's that pinch harmonic, the you know what I'm talking about? Like you get that, you're like, yeah, this is a Veil of Maya song. Like there's no way it's not. This, interestingly enough, is self-produced, which I did not realize, but there are like so many small little production bits in this song that really add to it. I think there's like a gun cocking in the second verse, right? That it makes sense when you watch the video with it.
Video?
Yeah, the Borderlands music video where somebody like cocks a gun, I think, or shoots a gun at that point, like in the music video. But like even just listening to the song itself, it's like, oh, that's just like a cool little tidbit. So like in the same vein as a Bill Murray, where it's like that didn't need to be there, but because it's there, it adds to the song, you know? I don't know if I like this better than Outsider.
No, I don't.
I like it better than Members Only.
Yes. High five.
Oh shoot, it didn't pick up on my mic. I just just looks like I'm trying to swat a mosquito. Hold on, let me try again. Did it go through that time?
I got it.
It is. Oh, okay. Bet.
All right, I just have bad ears then.
Yeah, no,
So-
No, go ahead.
My stance on this song is, when the fuck are we getting a Queen side project from Lucas? Because holy fuck, his Queen vocals in this chorus are incredible.
They really are insane. This Members Only and Outsider have some of my favorite metalcore choruses that I've heard.
I feel like Members Only is really forgettable for me.
Really? Man, I really enjoyed it.
I do not remember anything about that song. It's so weird though. These singles are like a year from each other. Like
I'm saying, man, it's strange. I know we're getting an album this year. I know for a fact we're getting one. But I don't know why they waited so long between Members Only. I guess maybe COVID, but like they had Outsider on deck too. So I'm not really sure. I will say,
when was Outsider? Like it May?
oh geez, I think so. It was either May or early summer of last year. Yeah, something like that. The second half of the second chorus with that double layering on Lucas's vocals into that pre-breakdown, the "You've conspired to keep me on your wire" part.
The outro.
It's
I love
so
the outro
good.
So much.
It's so good, dude. The instrumentals for me are what sell me on the verses. The cleans sell me on the chorus, and that just like combination vocal effect in the pre-breakdown and the outro is just so good. At this point, Veil of Maya in the past have been very hit or miss for me, like on any given song and any given album. These past three singles for me have all been like huge hits, and they're giving me probably at this point, outside of Idola and Era, one of my top three most anticipated releases coming 2021.
Dude,
I
just want to go to that Dance Gavin Dance show. I just
dude,
want to see them
I'm
live.
saying.
Sad.
Oh my goodness! Now that Idola's on that lineup too, like that's crazy. That's a crazy ass lineup. Concerts, please.
Coming
I'm
eventually.
desperate. I'm desperate. Yeah, no, I Lucas. At the end of the day, Lucas can do no wrong, right? Like
Except in that Treasure song.
I don't even think it was bad there. I don't know. I think my problem with that is that it feels like I guess we've doubled back to the other song, but like it feels like the Shrezzers vocalist, right? Like could have done Lucas's part and the song would be the same. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my big thing. But at the end of the day, Veil of Maya have done it again. Put out another great single, in my opinion. I'm very excited to see where this goes, and hopefully we get an album announcement sooner rather than later. Outline and Color. We got a new song from them entitled "Goodbye to My Friends." A little more emotional than I would have expected.
Yeah. This song took me a couple of listens to fully get into. But the more I listen to it, the more I'm like, this is probably one of my favorite Outline and Color songs, up there with like a Punishment or a Vertigo.
This is my favorite since Punishment.
Yep, mine as well. I don't think it's better than Punishment, but it's my favorite since
No,
then.
no, it's not better.
Yeah.
I think my top 3 are disregarding their self-titled album. Ghost of You, Punishment, and then Goodbye, My Friends.
It's just a really solid song from top to bottom. I feel like I have not listened to this song nearly as much to how good it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's my issue with it, where it's like,
Yep.
I have not spent enough time with it to be able to like fully praise it for how good it actually is.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at too. I've listened to it enough to recognize that, like I said, it's my favorite since Punishment, but I don't have enough time understanding the nuances of the song yet to really form like a strong opinion on it one way or the other. And I feel like this is one of those songs where I feel like I need to have more listens to it to fully understand it. Like there are some songs that we've talked about where it's like I can listen to the song 2 or 3 times and tell you outright whether or not I like it or don't like it and why. This I feel like I definitely need more time with.
Yeah.
Which I guess is sort of a testament to Outline and Color's talent and ability for songwriting. But
I also I heard that the Clean's vocalist is very scared when he does cleans, or very not sure when he does cleans. So when we do get these kind of like slower tracks, it's definitely a breath of fresh air.
He's got a good Queen's voice, so like big ups to him. That's all I gotta say.
Skaggs, Michael. But that's all I've got.
I don't want to add either.
Would you guys say that it's overrated?
Why don't we let him speak? Why don't we put him behind a paywall?
If you want to hear this,
nobody would pay for it.
You'll have to pay $5.
We're trying to make
That's
money,
the point.
Right?
I could get rid of it. It would be great for me.
Nobody would pay for me. This is a business.
Oh, shit. Poor Jake. There have been so many times where Jake is trying to transition this episode, and the 3 of us are just spewing bullshit. He's like, dude, come on, progress the show. It's like, no, hold on.
That's what we're here for. Come on.
Exactly.
Anyways, as Jacob was saying, Landmarks delayed their album and put out a new single in place of it, and it's called Overrated. It's a bit of a shame that the album got delayed. In fact, I didn't even know it was
dates
delayed.
are overrated.
Exactly. Well, look, now we get it on the 19th.
I didn't know it got delayed until the day that it was supposed to release. So that kind of sucked.
Yeah, well, at least 19th's more stacked now, right?
Yeah, and at least I got this song because I think this is my favorite of the 4 singles.
Whoa, slow down there.
That's a bold claim.
It's close between this and Paralyzed because Paralyzed is so beautiful in the way that it builds up, but this is a level of heavy that I can enjoy, whereas Rainfall and Lost in the Waves sometimes push that boundary for me.
So I don't know a lot of their previous work, but the 2 songs that I do know, this song sounds like them. If that makes sense.
Well, like their older material?
Yeah, like they're. Yeah. I forget. I'll tell you what the songs are called. Hang on just a sec.
Well, he's finding that out. Something I think is interesting. When we talked, I believe it was last month, about Paralyzed. When we took a look at their Spotify page, and we were talking about how Lost in a Wave was approaching Rainfall in terms of streams, Since then, Rainfall has gotten like 30,000 more streams, bringing them to 792,000, and Lost in a Wave has completely eclipsed it at 1.3 million.
Damn.
Yeah, it's soaring. To
So-
the point past some of their 2018 material.
The songs I was talking about are Fantasy and Wake Up Call. Those are the two songs I have in my playlist. And I would say this song, Overrated, sounds very similar to... It's a safe song is what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm with you. Yeah,
I can see that, yeah.
it feels like it. You know, I don't feel like there's anything here. Everything here is good, like in terms of the song, but it doesn't feel like there's anything different about like Rainfall. Love it or hate it, it was different, right? Like there was something memorable there. And Paralyzed, obviously, you have that build up, which is my favorite single. You know, Lost in a Way, you've got that nuts ass breakdown that just
song.
like, yeah. And then there's
As
Overrated.
I said, it is very close for me between Paralyzed and this.
Yeah. This is a very, very good song. I just feel like it doesn't have as much of a unique identity as the other one. Like you can feel that it's more safe.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, definitely. But it works for me more so than the other ones have. So
That means you gotta go back, Jake. You gotta go back to the previous...
Exactly. It's time.
It's already on my dock of shit to get to in 2 years.
2024, he'll re-listen to Lost in a Wave.
The unfortunate reality of the amount of music that I want to listen to, but I'm really fucking slow at doing it. Yeah, no, I don't have too much more to add to this one.
No. Justin, tell me about this new single from...
Are you just going to skip over McKenna like that?
Oh, shit!
No! You're just going to skip over McKenna like that? Hello?
Dude, he thinks it's overrated.
Look, Derek, I'm excited.
No.
You're
I
very...
have to defend myself. The last song I listened to in this playlist was McKenna. And so I had landmarks, and like McKenna's thing is green. So I'm like, oh, what's the next white song? And I looked up and I'm like, oh, Violent Nine.
Yes, you just really want to hear my voice. I appreciate it.
That's true. I mean, it's more revenue, right?
Yeah, more revenue. Just here's my PayPal.
Back it up. Rewind it like 30 seconds here. We got a new song from McKenna, Hivemind favorite, entitled SM 2099.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Spider-Man 2099. I'm pretty
got him. Wait, is
I'm
it actually?
90% sure. If you look on there, I'm like pretty sure it's on their Instagram page or something.
You're a bit early for April Fool's, Jake.
So
I need to look this up myself now because I swear to God.
So real quick. When we started listening to them and first recommended them on the podcast, they were at what, like 2,000 monthly listeners?
Something like that.
Thereabouts. Yeah. They have hit 19,000, boys.
It's all because of us.
Exactly. All 19,000 of our listeners have come together and started listening to McKenna. No, like we said, a band that's gonna keep getting better and continue to expand in terms of their outreach. And I think that SM 2099 continues that trend of McKenna just getting better and better with every single.
Yeah, I feel like it's fair to say this is probably the most generic of their single releases so far, but it's still McKenna and it's fantastic. The bass line that opens up this song is just insane. It's almost like an eye-opener. Like when I think of like bass lines and songs that are memorable, like Eye Opener is usually Eye Opener by Slaves, that is usually one of the first ones to come to mind. I think this is going to be up there as like one of the ones to come to mind first when I think of like sick, nasty bass lines and stuff. It's just great. I'm still determined to figure out that this actually means Spider-Man 2099, by the way.
That would be something. I don't know why it would.
I don't know either, but
I think I'm gonna say this. I think this is my favorite McKenna song.
I am almost inclined to agree.
This is either my second or third favorite. No, I don't think anything is going to top Habitual for me at this point, and I think I'm standing alone on that hill. But
you know, what was that other one? I'm forgetting it. I think it was A War Within. Or no, it's Finer Highs. Finer Highs was the one that I'm higher on. I really do enjoy Finer Highs. This band I don't think has had any bad songs yet, which again,
Yeah,
for
they
a
haven't.
band that's relatively new, it's it's impressive. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of new bands who are coming in with huge new songs.
Bringing the heat right off the gates.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
also want to confirm that yes, this was actually based off of Miles Morales. The EP set to release April 2nd for McKenna's titled Expedition.
Where did you find that date? I thought that there wasn't a date for this EP yet.
Fucking, I'll link
It's
it
the
in
day
here.
after April Fool's. They got us.
It was some sort of interview they did. The title Listen 2099 is based off Spider-Man 2099, inspired by Miles from Into the Spider-Verse.
I thought the EP was going to be called Expedition because that's what they've been teasing.
Yeah, I literally
okay.
just said it's called Expedition, and that's probably what
I
that's
thought
probably
you said it was
that's probably
called
the next
Expedition.
song release is going to be
Yeah.
April 2nd.
Okay, cool. Either way, McKenna, just they're 5 for 5 at this point. Is that fair? 4 for 5 at the very least.
I don't know. I'm not a part of this.
Well, you should be.
I think that they're 5 for 5 on good songs. I'll put it that way. I haven't loved any of them as much as I've loved Finer Highs, but I think that they're all very good and just continuing to demonstrate how good of a band they are.
Like already pretty confidently say like based on these 5 singles alone, given that there's only one more song on this upcoming EP, like this is very likely to be one of the best EPs I will hear all year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree. Top 10 for me, if not top 15, which is like considering how many I'll probably end up getting around to,
Big ups to McKenna.
Facts.
Let's move on to what we were accidentally moving on to.
Hey, oh, my bad, man. My bad. Here, let me try again. Hold on. Justin.
Hi.
We not again. Goddamn. We've got a new song from Violet 9 entitled "Grenade." Justin, I know you feeling good about this one.
I'm feeling good about this, and this band in particular. I have been trying for the last 2 weeks, I think, 7 days roughly, to get these guys to listen to this band. I actually found not this song. I found "Change in Plans," which was a Kellen Quinn feature, which is one of the rare times you see Kellen Quinn's like harsher vocals, which is nice. And then I listened to this song, and yeah, it's got a very clear inspiration of Asking Alexandra, Sleeping with Sirens, a little bit of Palisades here and there. But I like it. I'd say this is probably not my favorite after listening to Change in Plans and even the next single they released in 2020 after Change in Plans, Just Friends. But it's got a really good sound to it. The vocals are nice, a little bit higher than I would care to like, but overall it sounds really good, especially about halfway into the track where they add like a there's a good like instrument change where they add harsher drums to it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
My stance on this song is that this is solid across the board, but there's nothing bad about it, but there's also nothing that really grabs my attention. This band definitely has potential. I just need to hear something that I don't want to say wows me because I feel like that's almost too much, but I need something that just grabs my attention more than this one does.
Did you guys listen to Change in Plans yet?
I have not gotten around.
I have not, no.
Do it. Just do it. It's got much heavier vocals, or not vocals, but instrumentals, and I think you'll like the Kellen Quinn feature. But that's all I really want to say. And they also did a Dear Maria, Count Me In cover, which I thought was pretty good because it's been like years since I've seen someone cover that song.
It's gotten really big on TikTok. I've seen on Twitter.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like, as I said, I have nothing bad to say about this song, but I also don't have much to say about it. It's just solid through and through.
That's about where I'm at on it.
Derek.
Yeah.
Yup. We got a new song from Tillian entitled Anthem.
I was really expecting to get high from that. just the
I
mirror of what we did.
I should have. You know what? I wasn't thinking. That's on me.
No.
That's on me. But yeah, no, we got a new single from Tillian entitled Anthem. Tillian, the frontman for Dance Gavin Dance. I really, really like this. I think that it's not as good of an overall song as Dose was. Dose, I thought, was an excellent callback to the Tides of Man days for Tillian. Realistically, for this song, what really draws me in is the production value on it. Like, there is just so many like little nuances in like the way that I believe it's Chris Crummett who mixed and mastered this. There's the glory from my lips. Like I can't do it because I can't hit that note, right? But like that little bit there are a ton of that really just adds to the overall, not necessarily that the song itself is atmospheric, but there is a lot of like atmosphere within this song, right? Like created by those little nuances that I mentioned. I don't know. I think that this album is shaping up to be different from every other Tillian release in the past, you know, but in a good sense. You know, like it's different in a good way. Like it feels a bit more experimental, I guess. I don't know.
I can definitely agree with that. Yeah, this is a song that grew on me the more I listened to it, and now I really, really like it. The chorus is so fucking catchy. Just the whole poison. What is it? Something in the poison?
Yeah, wisdom in the poison.
It's so catchy. And Tillian's vocals are as good as ever. I will stand by the fact that I like Tillian as a solo project more than Dance Gavin Dance outside of a few circumstances. But yeah, I don't know. It's just great song.
Hey, I can get with this song. I thought Dose is miles better than this, and I tried multiple times and it's just not working for me.
Yeah, for me, this was a very like it took more time to grow on me than Dose did. And I feel like it's because Dose in and of itself is more of like a catchy melodic hook song, whereas this is more of a chill out and vibe to it song.
Yeah, definitely.
And like a lot of times those chill out and vibe to it ones, it's like you just kind of have to sit back and listen to it rather than you're actively hearing it and it gets stuck in your head, that sort of thing. I mean, obviously the chorus for this is pretty catchy, but I feel like the song was named Poison until the last minute, and they're like, "Shit, it's too obvious. Like we can't. We got to pick something else." And that's when they pull out the dartboard and they put all the song or all the words from the song on it. They blindfold themselves and they throw the fucking dart. And they're like, "All right, bet Anthem, right? Like we got it. It's done." But no, they originally actually the dart landed on motherfucking, and they're like, "Well, we can't do that." like Rise was like, no, I don't think so. But
yeah,
you know, there's no official release date for it. I believe the album has 12 tracks on it. I'm not positive on that one, so don't quote me. But either way, I'm very excited to see where this leads.
I'm down for it. So I think that takes us into our next single, our second to last single for this month. Zayd Wolf has a new single out called Madness off of an upcoming album called Neon Blood Type. Justin, what do you think of this one? Since I know you're the other big Zayd Wolf fan around these parts.
I want to hear your opinion first.
Alrighty then. I think this is solid. This song is a perfect example of what I love in more alternative stadium rock kind of stuff. The drum beat that comes after the hook of like "This Is Madness" or whatever. Just gonna be madness. The drums in that section are what I love about this type of music, where it just sounds big, and it's just a really fun sound to me. And outside of that part, which I think is the most memorable part of the song, I think the verses are pretty solid as well. They have a fun beat to it, and but I do think like the drums steal the show in this song for sure.
Yeah, I feel like the instrumentals are definitely the best part of this. I honestly, the vocals weren't doing it for me. It took a couple of listens for me to like really think if this was good or not. I I like it. It's just I wish the vocals had that kind of more stadium rock kind of vibe to like Gladiator or something. This where he kind of tries a little bit of those higher highs with the beats, and I kind of wasn't into it. But I'm interested to see how this album comes.
Definitely.
He has an album, Neon Blood Type, coming out May 7th. So there is a chance this could be really good.
You guys have done a good job on selling me on this because I did not get a chance to listen to it. I also wasn't super intrigued by Zane Wolf in general, or Zade Wolf rather. But I gotta listen if not for the drums.
Yeah, the drums are pretty good, and you're probably not gonna go back to this just because I know how you are with stadium rock in general.
Right.
But I feel like if anything, you're gonna like the instrumentals.
You'll appreciate them.
Appreciate it at the very least.
I don't have too much more to add, so I'm about ready to move on to this last single if you guys are.
Yeah, hold on.
What?
Is there a second part to that, or are we just holding on?
No, keep going.
What? I'm getting mixed messages
Jake,
here.
I think he noticed what we did.
No,
I think he did.
No, I ignored that for good reason. But I'm gonna post this on our chat. But you can keep going, Jake.
Have a new song called Blood on Teeth. This will make sense later. That's all.
Oh.
So, Justin, no, they did not release a second single.
What?
It's when random rap artists take the name of other artists and release it.
Oh
under that
yeah,
name.
dumb. All right,
So,
moving on.
yeah, ignore that.
I was really confused.
So Blood on Teeth is a step down from Right Here, and I think kind of a significant one, unfortunately. Because Right Here was a fantastic introduction to their new vocalist, and this one leans into the heavier and darker side that I really just don't think matches his vocal style or what this band has done in the past for me. It's just lacking a lot of what I enjoyed from this band in previous songs.
I liked this better than Right Here, but not by
Interesting.
much.
Because I have barely gone back to this song in the past week, whereas Right Here was like in like somewhat constant rotation for me for like the 2 or 3 weeks after it came out. I was going back to Right Here a lot. This one is kind of just one that I like heard once and I'm like, yeah, okay, and then I move on with my day.
They're about unequal, although I think I'd replay this more than Right Here. But
so what appeals to you about this song then?
I would say the like darker tone to it.
Okay, interesting. So we just have different stance. We have different viewpoints on the darker, heavier tone to the song.
I mean, that's fine. We both agree that their bassist should come back and sing again.
Yeah, that's true. Their old vocalist was so fucking good. Not to say that this new guy is bad, but their old vocalist was a hidden gem.
I would love a dueling track between them, like where they kind of bring in both the vocals. But I don't think
really
that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's all I got though.
Derek, you got any thoughts?
No, I think you guys about covered it. I wasn't super high on this song.
So, the Timeless reference comes back here as we move into our albums and EPs of February. So, let's get started then.
Timeless by Mice and Men.
And there you have it.
Oh, I just now noticed that.
What did you think he was talking about?
I have no idea. I was really confused. I was like, Timeless, Mice and Men. They are an old band. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
The EP is called Timeless. The band is called Timeless.
I didn't listen to this.
Okay, well you should because this is a really good EP.
Yeah,
this is like one of my favorite releases all year, and like overall EPs just in general. I'm a huge fan of this.
This is my first of Mice and Men release, and I am thoroughly intrigued.
I don't know. Earth and Sky I was kind of put off by, but
okay.
Yeah, that's why I haven't gone back to it.
Well, I'll have you know, Justin, are you a Restoring Force fan? I bet you are. Anchor sounds like Restoring Force. You should listen to it.
Yeah,
so
this.
Okay.
No, you sold it. You sold it perfectly. I was going to mention the same thing about Anchor. I also think Anchor's my favorite song off the CP.
That's just not obsolete. That's
It
just
isn't.
a wrong. That's just an
I think
objectively
I'm
wrong
thinking of
opinion.
Jake. I think obsolete is a little better, but I do like that Anchor does sound like their old stuff. He sounds like Austin.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I think he sounds better than Austin. Is my position on it. I can see like aspects of his voice being like Austin, but I think overall, I don't know how comparable they are in terms of like overall sound. But I just think that wow. Hold on, sorry, lagged for a second there. Give me a moment to regroup.
Brain lag or what?
Yeah. It kind of stuttered a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I think that Aaron Paul's vocals, just overall, both uncleans and cleans, are such a good fit for this band. And I'm not gonna lie, I think Austin leaving, even though it was under the circumstances that it was, with his health and everything, he couldn't help it. I think that was honestly the best thing that could have happened to the band. This band with just Aaron Paul at the frontman is just a whole new animal. It is so good. This EP, I've listened to it every day at least twice since it came out. Like on my way home from work, I'll roll the windows down, I'll put this EP on, I'll just blast it. I think the replayability on it, like as a whole, like the individual songs themselves are good, but the outro of Anchor into the intro of Timeless,
I've never done that. I need to do that.
yeah, it's not seamless per se. Like it's not like you would have a fade out like into a, you know what I'm talking about? Like it's not the same sound going in and out. But
Can
they
I
both
have
have
that
a
as a
distinct
fade
intro
in,
and
fade out
outro.
now?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Right. That's
I feel like
Jake. If that's not the fade in, fade out to this EP or EP to this podcast, I'm gonna be upset.
dude, yeah,
I think you might be upset.
I think the I'm gonna make that like my ringtone. So like every time my phone rings, it's just like it's just my voice vibrating. But yeah, no, it works perfectly as a standalone EP. It works perfectly in terms of replayability front to back. I think that this may be the first 3-song EP I've heard that feels like one cohesive package and like everything is there. Like I love and this was the Too Close to Touch thing I wanted to bring up earlier. I love the 3-song EPs from Too Close to Touch. Those don't feel nearly as cohesive as this does. Like those feel like a collection of good songs, whereas this feels like a complete release,
So,
like as an EP.
I want to ask you. Maybe it's too early to ask this. Maybe probably because they're releasing, I think, 2 more EPs this year, right?
Yes.
Would you rather an album?
No.
Interesting.
I don't think so.
Different from earlier.
So yeah, and here's why. I think that if this EP is a proof of concept. I think if every release is as cohesive as this one was, like of each EP, because they said that there's going to be 3 EPs, and then I think 2 to 3 more songs that don't make an EP, and that'll just end up being on the record. Like it's not going to be a 9-song album. If each EP flows in and out of itself as well as this EP does in terms of replayability, I think it'll be interesting to see where each individual song ends up on the album. You see what I'm saying? Like any individual one could have the opener on it. Any individual one can have the closer. But the fact that each of them act like that, right? If the other 2 EPs are like that, that means that at any given point, any of these songs could really transition into each other, and it's going to create one big cohesive album. So if the other EPs are treated like that, I'm almost more excited to see how they end up working together on an album after I've already heard them all. And I think it helps that I know I'm getting an album after this, as opposed to Too Close to Touch, where I know it's just going to be a collection of EPs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point.
This overall. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, before we get off this, I literally just listened to Anchor, and I'm aboard.
Okay.
We did it, Reddit.
Small victories.
We did it, Reddit.
You guys could have just fucking said it was.
I did say that.
Reminiscent. When?
Go read in the chat. Didn't I say that?
I don't read.
He did. He definitely said it.
Read.
This is a hot take. I think that the 2 albums that we're going to discuss after this have higher points on each of them than this Of Mice and Men EP. as a cohesive whole, this Of Mice and Men EP is my favorite release we're going to talk about out of the three. Like, just personally, I am very much in love with this EP. I'm very, very excited to see what the other two sound like, what this album ends up sounding like as a whole.
I feel like I haven't had enough time with this because I've been listening to an album that came out on the same day so much.
Yeah. I would.
I can't get behind Obsolete, unfortunately. I just want to listen to that. And
now, on the contrary, stands me, where I wasn't as high on Obsolete when we talked about it in our January recap, and now it is by far my favorite of the three songs, and I have not been able to put it down. Obsolete fucks, to take the words out of Derek's mouth.
It does.
Obsolete fucks. That's just all it is. It's like, it's just the classic metalcore goodness that it's just classic metalcore done well. That's all it is, and I love it. Like, the riffs are just classic metalcore riffs, but they're awesome. Yeah. And the vocals work perfectly with them as well. And unfortunately, we are talking about this in the sense of the EP as a whole. I have probably listened to Timeless and Anchor combined like 10 times compared to like the 30 to 40 I probably have on Obsolete right now. So I can't comment too much further.
This to me feels like Of Mice and Men has found their sound. Like Defy, which I believe was 20. Yeah, that album. It felt like it was leaning. Yeah, it was leaning too much into Aaron's cleans. I felt like Earth and Sky was a heavy proof of concept album that didn't really utilize his cleans as much in the best way that they could. This feels like the best of both of those concepts put into one. This to me feels like the best Of Mice and Men has ever sounded. Yeah, I'm gonna double down and die on that hill.
I don't know if I can give up Restoring Force. Like, I don't know.
That is a good album.
As my only other songs that I have heard from Of Mice and Men are like 2 songs off of Earth and Sky. So I don't have much to compare it to.
Yeah, I don't know how much more time we could or should spend on this, but overall, Jacob, I would challenge you guys to listen to it front to back, then let it loop through once more and see if your opinion changes on any of the songs of the EP as a whole. Because I liked all of them prior, like, because I listened to Anchor individually before I heard the EP all the way through. But just overall put together, it's one fantastic cohesive EP, and I highly recommend it. Probably my easiest recommend out of everything this month.
So let's go from there as our one EP that we're talking about this month into the 2 massive album releases of February. Starting with none other than Normandie, who have finally released their 3rd album, Dark and Beautiful Secrets.
Can you believe that, like, probably about a year and a half ago, Jake and I were trying to see if Jericho actually exists or if people at live shows were fucking with us?
Yeah.
Like some sort of, like Jericho's like some sort of cryptid. It's like the Bigfoot of the hard rock scene.
They were playing Jericho at live shows in December. They were playing Jericho in live shows in December 2019, I'm pretty sure. The song didn't release until August 2020.
And there was like no footage of it whatsoever. And I kept scouring the internet. I was like, where the fuck is this song?
And we finally get Jericho. And now we are finally here with the entirety of Dark and Beautiful Secrets in our hands.
This is the best album they put out.
Yeah.
I agree.
Like White Flag was a top 3 album of 2018 for me. This is blowing that out of the water.
White Flag was a top, but it also had a few kind of middle of the road songs. I feel like every single one of this song has its own place.
Just that. This album is incredible.
What was their first album called? Fight, right? Sorry.
Ingas. Featuring
that feels
a
like,
song called Fight.
Yeah, that's the only song I remember. Feels like a totally different
band. It's one of the better songs.
Yeah.
It is.
Well,
they have developed their sound and honed it into something amazing.
If you only listen to a Holy Water and Jericho, you could probably see that. But once they released Atmosphere, then Babylon, and then Hostage, then it started becoming its own thing. And this album is definitely much different than White Flag and Angus.
To me,
So
well, sorry, go ahead.
I just want to. Do we want to start by talking about the negatives of this album, or do we want to just praise this album for the next 10 minutes while we can?
What
I want to
negative?
talk about the negative. I can't remember what song it is, but there's like a sudden cutoff, and I hate it so much.
I don't
I don't
know.
I don't know either.
It's probably one of the ones I don't have saved.
Hang on.
To me, this feels like the best parts of
Jericho.
Ingus.
Jericho.
Okay,
The end of
I'm
Jericho.
with you.
Okay. Yeah,
I
can see
don't hate it. To me, it's sort of like the same thing as Secrets by
talking
Slaves,
about. Yeah.
right? Where like I was kind of iffy on it at first, but over time I just became desensitized to it, and now like it doesn't even bother me anymore. This to me, this album is the best parts of Ingus and the best parts of White Flag put together to make something beautiful.
with a cherry on top as well.
Exactly. Real quick, I want to get everybody's favorite songs from this. Like
Throw
your
it
number one
together.
favorite song. Okay, Jake,
Holy Water.
Jacob.
Renegade.
Oh, we've all got different ones. That's interesting. Mine's Chemicals, and it's not even close.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, this is an album where, you could easily pick your favorite, but you're not going to have the same favorite as someone.
I
Unless
think
they
the
have
best way
very
for
similar
me
music
to
taste.
describe how incredible this album is, when I did my initial ranking of how good I thought every song on the album was, I have listened to Jericho somewhere between 50 and 60 times, I'm pretty sure, since it came out in August. And that is only my 6th favorite song on the album, maybe even 7th. That means that I think that there are 5 or 6 other songs worth playing over 50 times, and I'm pretty sure I have hit that quota on those other 5 songs.
Here's the thing: the singles are the songs that were saved for the album are much better than the singles, and it's not even close.
So
I'm gonna disagree on that one, actually.
I was
Because
like,
I think like if I'm making if I'm splitting this album in half, making a top 5 and a bottom 5, 3 of the 5 singles are in my top 5.
Okay.
I think
Being Holy Water, Hostage, and Babylon.
What were you saying, Jacob?
hearing the singles in the context of the album made me love them more.
Yep.
Yep.
And because I was not excited. Like I didn't even know this was coming out when it came out. Like I just saw you guys posted in the chat. It's like, oh, you're reacting to it. I couldn't make it that night, but
yeah, that's where I'm at too. That like I heard oh god, what was it? What were the first 2 singles? It was Jericho
and Holy Water.
Holy Water. And I was like completely unimpressed by both of them. And so I decided to just save myself for the album, for the rest of the singles. And I think that did like really enhance my listening of it too. But I ended up saving every single besides Hostage. I think, and Jake, don't hate me. Hostage is my least favorite song on this album.
that's my second favorite.
Well, hey, let me return the favor in saying that Chemicals might be my least favorite.
Oh no! Okay, fine. I'll take the 1 for 1. I'll take the 1 for 1. I
will get onto that.
So I have 3 songs on this album that aren't saved, and they're Hostage, Bury Me Alive, and Renegade.
Oh,
and for me, it's because, at least for Renegade and Hostage especially, I think that Philip's upper range, like his highest range for like Chemicals, right? He goes into it on maybe like a word or 2 and provides an excellent flow and variation. When he goes into that upper range for extended periods of time, something about that vocal delivery doesn't do it for me. And I think that among the fantastic, beautiful compilation that is this album, and the instrumentation here, by the way, is probably my favorite I've heard all year. Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
That's my biggest gripe with this album is a personal preference. It is nothing that I can point out objectively because I don't think that there are any objective flaws of this album. Like I could go on and say that this almost has a Slaves effect where it feels like every song could have been a single, right? Like it feels like a collection of 10 singles. But the 10 singles all work together in such a way that it feels like a cohesive 10 singles rather than a bunch of standalones, which I think is what part of makes this this album's so good is that every song is huge in its own way, and none of them feel isolated from each other. They all feel like a part of one bigger thing.
If you get Mission Control and Thrown in the Gutter as singles, like they probably get the same traction that like Jericho or Holy Water did.
Yep.
Yeah. Can we also talk about the theming in a lot of this album? What a lot of religious kind of
I actually read an article that kind of explained it more, where Philip was basically saying that he grew up in a very religious household in his childhood. And as he grew up, he wanted to detach himself more from the religion because he felt it was toxic to his mental health. And this album is kind of portraying that process. And I think I'm going to tie this back to Chemicals. The closing song on the album in the chorus says, "I gave my life to the sin, but I'm not a sinner." And I think that just perfectly encapsulates that message of trying to escape a toxic religious like environment. I just once that line clicked with me, like that made Chemicals hit with me much more. And I'm gonna say that, and I'm still gonna stick to my point with it maybe being my least favorite on the album.
Yeah,
and that's just a testament to how incredible this album is, I think.
Yeah, I find Normandie to be at their strongest when they lean into those more, I guess, electronic elements, right? Like I feel like they're very present on a song like Mission Control, which I think is probably the second best song on the album, personally for me. Babylon as well. Chemicals, especially for me, that like electronic melody in the chorus is really what sends that song over the top for me. And I mean, like, it's the same sort of thing that like Enough, right, is probably tied with, or from White Flag, is tied with Chemicals for my favorite Normandie song, because it's got those very slight electronic influences that they don't feel like they're making the song electronically driven. They add just enough to make a great song that much better.
Yep.
There's just so much going on in these songs that it doesn't feel overwhelming in any sense. It feels like everything works together in such a way that creates like one big, beautiful album. I mean, this is just fantastic.
I think it's just crazy to me that Normandie have released 3 of my 5 favorite songs of this year so far. Like Hostage, Mission Control, and Thrown in the Gutter are all probably in contention for my top 5. And if not Thrown in the Gutter, Babylon is up there too.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm glad you said something about Thrown in the Gutter, because that is
I feel like we've been talking very general about this album. Do you guys want to jump into like more specifics about some of these songs now?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's
start with Thrown in the Gutter as we were talking about it.
Yeah, Thrown in the Gutter, man, that is not a sound I thought Normandie would go with.
I'm surprised you say that, because I feel like that's not too astray from some of their other songs, like in the vein of like Maniacs.
I didn't like Maniacs, so I guess.
Okay, well,
I guess that's fine. But yeah, this is probably my favorite, just because the lyrics, like King of the Carcass. Like when I heard that, just the entire song.
The chorus of that goes, "Leave me to rot, a king of the carcass," I'm pretty sure. And that's just an incredible line.
Yeah.
I also want to point out, we were talking about Mission Control a lot, but I don't think a lot of us have talked about Atmosphere, which is probably the slowest song that Normandie has done.
In contention with The Bell.
With The Bell. But I feel like that is probably the best way they could have done a slower song. Put it like right in a part of the album where it kind of separates the singles that are kind of more pop and more electronic focused from the ones that are a bit more heavier influenced.
It also flows so well out of Bury Me Alive.
I agree.
It flows so well out of that song, which just to quickly touch on Bury Me Alive is one of the few flaws that I have with this album. In the vein of, and like, it's such a nitpick. This is such a nitpicky thing, but that song would be infinitely more replayable to me if you cut out the first 10 seconds and just jump straight into the first verse.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because it opens up with like the whatever that is. Did my mic pick that up? I hope it did.
A little bit.
Like it's that like backing ahs that come up later in the song as well, which I think they work great later in the song, but at the beginning of the song, they kind of put me off until I listened to the song more. If you open up Bury Me Alive straight into that first verse with like the fast drum beat, like I am instantly way more into that song on first listen. And that's like one of like 2 or 3 flaws that I have with this album. The others being more personal things, which basically I think the biggest thing that is holding Normandie back from releasing a #1 album of the year for me is that they have not had that absolutely killer opening or closing track yet in their entire career for me. Babylon is a fantastic opener. Chemicals is a great closer. But when I think to some of my favorite openers and closers to some albums in the vein of A Made Up Smile by Dream State or
Pray for Rain.
Pray for Rain by Polaris.
Yeah.
Or in the sense of a closer, Like I Do from Slaves or Crash and Burn by Dayseeker.
Start the Fire and Light It Burn.
Yep, that too.
Yeah.
Normandie hasn't had one of those for me yet. And I think that is the biggest thing holding me back.
I'm going to argue and say they don't need it.
Well, I don't think that they need it, but I think like this album is still fantastic even without that. But I think for me personally, you get me specifically the closer, I think is what I need more because Babylon, I think, functions fantastic as an opener. I think I need specifically a closing track that hits me more than Chemicals did, or what closed out White Flag? I think Heaven it was. I need a closer to hit me in the feels the way that some of these other albums that I have mentioned has. And I think as soon as Normandie does that for me, they're going to be making my favorite album of whatever year that happens. I think that is the only thing that is holding this album back for me.
I would have loved to see how they experimented with what Noya did and kind of
a talky thing,
like a talky kind of thing, not even like the full minute like they did, just kind of a like maybe some like Bible hymns or like something like that, just something to kind of like set that up and then like burn it to the ground at the end, like kind of set up that religious context at the beginning, like what they did.
The
with
more
Babylon.
You're explaining this, the more you're selling it to me.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what they did with like Babylon and the closing track being Chemicals. That's kind of what they did. But I feel like if they set it up more, that would probably bring a bit more meaning to it. But with how much they alluded to it already in the albums, I don't know if that would then change the entire like change the meaning of the album. But I feel like with what they did with Babylon and Chemicals, opening and closer, I think they did fine.
By no means are they bad songs.
No. I think
I'm waiting for that something special.
Right. I think they set up the religious context enough to what this album was meant to be for.
Yeah. We've been talking about this for a while, so I do kind of want to start wrapping up our thoughts on this.
That's fine.
But I do still have like 4 more points I probably want to bring up. We haven't talked about the riffs of Mission Control and Thrown in the Gutter yet.
No.
Mission Control has my favorite guitar riff of the entire year. It's not even fucking close. Thrown in the Gutter is like probably a close second or third behind it. And then I think the last thing I want to point out is we just haven't talked about Hostage that much, other than Derek, you saying it's your least favorite on the album.
Yeah, sorry.
Hostage has probably the biggest chorus that Normandie has ever written. And it makes sense why you say you dislike it, because you like when Philip like kind of like he has those one notes of like those one noted high notes, whereas Hostage, it's like high notes throughout every single line of the chorus.
Right.
But it just hits so big. Like that song live is going to be crazy.
Oh yeah,
if I ever get to experience it.
Undeniably huge chorus.
Yeah. And I think the meaning behind that song, it has like roots to anxiety and panic attacks. There's like specific lyrics that I had pointed out when I first heard it, but at this point I've kind of lost them. But I really just wanted to make note of the incredibly big chorus of Hostage, because I don't think we mentioned that yet. And my final point is that I'm glad that they decided to bring on a Solens feature with Renegade.
Oh man,
We were so close.
So close.
So close.
I even thought about
Did
it.
you do that on purpose?
No, I have had that planned since like day 2 after that album came out.
Dude,
Renegade sounds like a fucking Solon song. Prove
We
me
were gonna
wrong.
get them next month.
Excuse
I wanted
me?
a.
That
I
is
wanted a
insulting.
It sounds like a good Solon song. Okay, Solon's has good songs. It's been a while, but they have good songs, and that riff in Renegade straight up feels like it's ripped from a Solon song.
I even considered earlier with Citizen Soldier bringing up something like, "Oh, it's gonna be like Solon, so you're gonna be talking about him every month." And then I was like, "Well, no, I'm not gonna do that. Surely we can go a month without bringing it up." No,
we went the entirety of the January.
you've done it. I can't
Wait,
believe
yeah,
you did it.
Yeah, we did it. I wanted another month where we just don't talk about it,
We
forget
need,
they
like-
existed
sorry.
until
need one of those-
until we
we could-
start next
we were
month
going-
and we go on a tirade.
A whole
I'm sorry.
all of 2021 so far, and then you just
I'm sorry.
We've got to get one of those like workplace whiteboards where it's like days without Solon's reference. Like, oh man, no.
I'm sorry, but it has to be
Oh,
said.
God.
It is
Yeah.
it is way too reminiscent of a Solon's riff for me to not mention it.
I don't know. The break.
Yeah.
Speaking of Renegade, that breakdown is
Oh,
great.
yeah.
That's easily one of my favorite moments on the album. Even though I don't
Yeah.
like Renegade as a whole as much as I do the rest of the material. I mean, that's a damn nice breakdown. Overall, I think we've got an album here that's very likely going to make it into all of our top 10s come the end of the year. Is that a safe assumption?
Yes.
Oh, easily.
possibly.
Okay.
Somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think this will make my album of the year, but this is just so good. It's too good not to make the top 10.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do. I very much enjoyed this. Easy recommend. So much to unpack here, so much to love here.
Yeah.
I love it.
I don't know how long we spent on this album. It's feeling like 15 plus minutes at this point, to be
Probably,
honest.
but it's
That's how
deserved.
that's how much time it deserves. And I think that's probably about how much time this next album deserves. Architect.
We've got
I don't know, man.
Justin, shut up. Your opinion is
Yep.
unfair
All right.
now.
So if you want to hear Justin's shithole opinion on this Architect album, subscribe to the Patreon.
Hey,
No,
Justin, do you wish to exist?
I wish.
That was my transition.
I guess
Lift
you
it
guys
where you
aren't.
will.
You guys aren't
Hit
gonna
me
have
up.
to know. You guys
Hit
won't
me
know
up.
what Justin answered. We don't know.
Yeah,
if he
it's
actually wants to
holy
exist
shit.
or
Yeah,
not.
yeah. Find out for a $5 paywall.
It's fine. It's fine.
Um,
I'm just tweeting the number of days since Hivemind talked about Solons on the
My
fucking
God.
Twitter.
Yeah, but
So
how did you have that? Like,
no, that's an image flip diff. I don't know. We've got a new
No,
album
I had it ready.
from like, damn it, Justin.
You're getting interrupted now. I had to deal with the entire
Jake, is this how you felt earlier?
Yes.
I am so sorry. No
okay.
dartboard
It's
was
okay.
worth this. Architects have a new album.
0
out.
days since Solon.
You're gonna make him leave the call.
For those that wish to exist by architects. And right now it seems like Derek doesn't want to exist.
No, I've
So,
had enough. I've had enough.
Jacob, take it away with this album first to give
Okay.
Derek some time to cope.
Okay, I am like, I've listened to this album so many times, and I'm still iffy on it. There are a lot. I think, first of all, I think it's too long.
Okay.
You cut a couple songs. Where do I want to go with this? The high points are so fucking high, but the lows are so low. Is that make sense?
Yeah.
I can relate to that for sure.
And it even happens like within songs. Like, I want to say Impermanence is my example. I feel like I like the Winston feature, but it feels like it's just there because they wanted a feature. I don't know. It feels forced, but I don't know. It's I'm so torn on this album as a whole. It's like I don't know.
It's a very different experience for you, I imagine, as a longtime Architects fan.
I'm not that long time though. I've only like
But-
Holy Hell is as far as it goes.
Okay, well, okay. But like you've gone back to like their older material since.
Some of it, yeah.
That's not something I've done. So for me, like, is this considering I really only liked one or two songs off of Holy Hell, for me to be able to enjoy just about half of this album is already an immense step up. And I feel like me saying that is discrediting this album for the amount of high points that it actually has. When in reality, there's a lot of great on this Architects album, and it's just not for me. And I think the best example of that is probably in Discourse is Dead, which is the most reminiscent to that Holy Hell sound. And
I
it
think
just doesn't
Black Lungs
work.
is actually
Interesting. Okay.
Okay, well, so it's interesting that you mentioned that, Jake, because Discourse is Dead was written during that album cycle.
Okay. That might
So,
explain it then.
so that's why it sounds the most like, 2018 Architects. The moment I liked Animals, it was a step up from every previous Architects release for me. I don't
True.
think there has been any band that I have tried harder to like and failed than Architects. Like, their older material is all just so good, not great for me that it's unreal. I've listened to Holy Hell's the one with Doomsday on it, right?
Yeah.
And the ones before this, I've listened to Holy Hell probably 10 to 12 times through, and All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us probably anywhere from 5 to 10 times through, and the rest of their albums at least once or twice. And there's just nothing there that clicks with me
Before
in the way that
All Our
I
Gods
want it
Have-
to.
For All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us, there's not much. There's
Yeah.
a few, like you get a few tracks like Broken Cross and oh god, what's the song? These Colors Don't Run.
Right.
Um yeah.
That said, I have every song on this album saved. Opener, closer, Flight Without Feathers included.
That is
I
a crime.
I don't know. I don't think that this is objectively Architect's best album. I think I've listened to Holy Hell enough to say that I think Holy Hell is Architect's objectively best album.
I think so too.
This is their subjective best album. I feel like because, well, obviously it's subjective because I love it, right? Like I really, really enjoy it, but it also feels like this could be seen as a way for them to branch out in probably the best way possible. Like I'm gonna bring up a reference to an album that released today because I feel like it's pertinent to this. Something like A Day to Remember, right? That is a completely different sound from all their previous albums. It's not a good change. It's really not. It feels like a collection of songs without any semblance of some sort of meaning. It's having an identity crisis. If that's the lower end of the spectrum, and say maybe Caligula by In Heart's Wake is in the middle, right? Where it feels like there's a lot going on there that works well together, but you got a song here and there that feels like it doesn't work. To me, this is the best possible example of a long album that can have multiple different influences and ideas throughout it and still works almost perfectly together.
I remember when we first listened to this album together, Derek, that it's an hour-long album that doesn't feel nearly that long.
I have never been. I was gonna say I've never been so confused by the length of the the length of an album because I listened to it front to back and it feels like an album it feels like an hour, but it doesn't. Like that you're listening to 15 songs, but I feel like the time passes quicker than the actual runtime. I don't know. There's enough variation to me that it feels like it doesn't get too repetitive or drawn out. I do think that I agree with you that some fat could be trimmed off of this.
Demigod.
I don't think so.
Yes.
I not in terms of it being a bad song. Like I think the Demigod's one of the weaker songs in this album, right? But I think that in the context of the album, putting it before Meteor makes perfect sense. I really love that transition in like the vibe of Demigod versus that explosive opening instrumental of Meteor. I think it's probably, in terms of song to song, the best transition on the album. Like,
So
not even close.
if we are gonna hypothetically trim some fat here, what would your picks be?
I think Little Wonder just sounds like a Bring Me the Horizon ripoff.
Oh no, no,
It,
no,
no, no, no, no,
no, no.
Nope. My vote would be to cut Libertine, Little Wonder, and Black Lungs.
You really just picked like 3 of my favorite songs on this album.
I think Black Lungs is the worst song on this album. No lie.
No.
I can't. I don't like it as much as I do the rest. Anyway, I don't know. I think that the difference in opinion of my like version of like looking at these songs, if you want me to pick like 3 individual songs that I think are just overall the weakest, that's a different story. I think in terms of making a great cohesive album that strives to create that message of because the whole point of this album, from what I've gathered, is that like it's a contrast between hope and hopelessness in like terms of our society and climate. And it's like on one hand, you feel like you've got this hope that something can still be fixed, and then there's also that contrasting nihilism where it's like, oh, well, it's too late to do anything. Like the individual person can't make that change.
I'm gonna bring up a lyric from Meteor where it says "Disaster's at your door."
Yeah, exactly. And like there's that. I think that's what makes Demigod so interesting, is that like it's sort of a conflict of self, that you're at odds with your own ability to change things. It's like, oh, well, the individual can work together as a collective to change everything. Like, but I'm a demigod is the line, I'm pretty sure. And then there's also that hopelessness through Meteor where it's like, yeah, disaster's knocking at the door. Like, is there really anything you can do? And then that sort of just somber kind of fork in the road, almost, that dying is absolutely safe. I think that this album has a lot to offer, and it's mostly lyrically over anything else. I don't know. What if you get the meaning of this album? I feel like it adds a lot more to it and makes the 15 songs worthwhile and bearable, as opposed to if you're going in listening to this. And I think it's expectations too. For me, I didn't love previous Architects albums, so it's only up from here. For people who love something like Holy Hell, which again I think is objectively the better record, you're coming into this looking at all this variation and saying, it's too long, there's too much going on here, maybe not so much for me, which I could completely understand. But from my perspective, I think that this album front to back, even though I would trim some things for what it is, I think it's near flawless.
Happy to have finally enjoyed an Architects album.
That ultimately that's my biggest takeaway, is that I went from not at all a fan of Architects to I really enjoy this record. I am anticipating every Architects release from here on out.
Yep. I'm pretty much in the same boat. Not to the same level.
Right.
I do think that it is a bit of a shame that Animals was the lead single, in the sense that it is so far above everything else on this album for me that the expectations that I had from Animals heightened my expectations for everything else, and it didn't reach those expectations. Although Animals as the lead single was absolutely the right choice, as that song has been doing numbers for them.
Yeah,
so
I think you almost have to lead with that.
Yeah,
right. Like it's one of the, if not the biggest song in terms of like chorus catchiness, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's a decent enough representation of everything you're gonna get on this album, like just packaged into one. The singles to me make sense.
I don't think Meteor made sense as a single to me.
That one I think was mainly meant for radio, just to try and get some more hype building around this album. That's the only explanation I've got.
I thought Discourse is Dead. They played it at their what's that show called?
The Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah, they played.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they played it there. So I thought it was gonna be a single as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there are plenty of things on here that, like An Ordinary Extinction, right? Like I thought, like, why don't you make that a single? To me, that's the best song on the album, personally.
That's my favorite of the non-singles for sure.
But then, like, there's enough electronic influence on there, like in that song, that isn't present in the rest of the record per se. So it's like, oh, it's creating unrealistic expectations. I don't know. I think the singles made sense for what they were, but there's plenty of other things that could have potentially made it on there. I don't know. I think that every song on here at least has something to love. Like even Demigod, right? Like I know that like Jacob, that's your least favorite song on the album, right?
Yep.
But that bit where it transitions from an energetic chorus into like this sort of faint, wispy delivery, and I guess it would be a bridge till the end of the song, right? Like I feel like that at least is unique enough and has something to offer to this album that there's something to, even if you don't like it, like to appreciate. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even if you don't, right? Like, I don't know. To me, it feels like even the people who don't like this album still appreciate what's there. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think
there's tracks on here I absolutely love.
I
There's
think
some I absolutely hate.
From what I've seen, everybody either really loves it or is sort of ambivalent about like half the tracks on here. And I feel like that sort of rings true for us as well. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I also think you have songs like Memento Mori and A Wasted Hymn as closers on their previous two albums.
Yep.
Dying is Absolutely Safe is way worse than both those songs. It's awful as a closer. Well, in comparison to...
Well, that's what I was going to say, yeah.
In comparison to those two songs.
Objectively, those are the better closers. I think subjectively for what this album was trying to do, I think this closer works perfectly. I'm curious to see. Apparently, if you, I saw on Twitter, if you don't, if your record player for the vinyl version of this, if you don't have it so your needle automatically picks up after the record finishes, that static and ambient noise at the end of the closer will play on an infinite loop until you bring that needle up. So it's supposed to give you time to like reflect on everything you just heard and everything like that. And I'm very curious to see if I hear it on vinyl, if that's the case, and if it is, then how much that impacts my feeling on the closer and everything like that. But
that's interesting for sure.
Yeah, I'll keep you updated on that. But I don't know. I feel like I kind of got a little too passionate about the album there. So
well, I mean, you had a lot to say about it, so I can't blame you.
This is the biggest surprise so far of the year for me. If you'd have told me like last year before Animals released even that I would have like be loving an Architects album, I probably would have laughed at you.
Oh yeah, if you told me I was gonna enjoy half of an Architects album before Animals came out, like that was just not gonna happen.
I think another problem I have is maybe I set my expectations too high because I loved all 4 singles.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with that.
I loved all 4, and then get to the album, it's like,
because I think if I make like my top 5 songs on this album, it's the 4 singles and An Ordinary Extinction. Probably.
I guess, yeah, see, so that's different for me because I loved Animals, I loved Dead Butterflies. I didn't like Meteor until I heard it in the context of the album after Demigod, and Black Lungs. I've had saved, I've listened to it, I like it, I'm just not super in tune with it in the way that I am a lot of the other tracks on this album. And the more time I've spent with the newer songs, the more strongly I feel about that. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, just a very solid release. And I think a good sound change. Like I feel like if you're going to change your sound or like adapt to a newer sound, this is how you do it. Like I feel like there's enough of the older influence, obviously on Discourse is Dead, but just in general with a lot of the instrumentals. I mean, it's hard when you lose your songwriter, right? Like,
I think what Holy Hell was a safe. Like they were just trying to be safe with what they're making, but now since they've lost Tom, right? Tom.
Yes.
Tom.
Yep. Tom Sturrell.
Yeah, they have now found their new sound. I don't know. They still need to perfect it, I think. But
this is a proof of concept,
yeah.
Right? They mentioned that every song that they put out on this album, when they were writing it, they wanted to make sure that it would pass the Tom test, like whether or not he would have approved of it. And based on what I've seen in terms of the lyricism and everything, even if some of the like sonic changes maybe questionably, like Meteor or whatever, I feel like overall this album did a great job of expanding their sound and also, given the circumstances, doing Tom justice in terms of the songwriting. But
I feel like the lyrical content has not changed over.
No, they did a good job with keeping it consistent. And
I
even like
think,
some of the.
um,
I'm sorry. Go.
did you have anything you wanted to add? Or
Well, I was just gonna say too, like even like real quick, like with their merch drops or whatever, like everything that they were doing with like all the vinyls are made out of recycled vinyl. Like most of the stuff that they were doing with the merch drops were about protecting the environment, sort of in the same vein as like an In Heart's Wake type deal. Um, and that goes with the theme of the album. I just think that they did a very good job theming this and sticking to it. And yeah, overall, if not sonically, then lyrically and message wise, a very cohesive album that I'll definitely be spinning for a good while in the future.
I think the last point I want to make before we start to wrap this up is that something I noticed a lot is that when they did their breakdowns, they had very like wispy orchestral vocals backing them, like in Ordinary Extinction and
Also
Dead Butterflies.
The bait in Impermanence. Oh my god. Every reaction video I've seen, everybody's just going, and then they're like, oh, wait, what?
Yeah. I just think it's an interesting dynamic, like that instead of like a typical breakdown, which, I mean, you get one at the end of An Ordinary Extinction, but when you expect it there, like before that final chorus, and then you get like the breakdown and then those vocals come in, it creates a very interesting dynamic that the more I listen to it, the more I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's about
that's I think Meteor has it as well at the end, and I think that's part of why I like Meteor so much. And even though I'm not as huge on Dead Butterflies, it's growing on me. For I think that same like the backing orchestral vocals, it's a very interesting choice that kind of throws you for a loop. But the more I listen to it, the more I'm coming to enjoy it. So
yeah.
That's kind of my last point.
What do you think of the features?
I'm not familiar enough with Mike Kerr to point out a distinct part of the feature in that song. No lie. I sometimes forget there's a feature in that song.
It's second verse, I believe.
Okay, I'll have to listen to it afterwards. I think Simon Neil is an absolute monster.
I agree.
That shit was crazy. I love it.
I personally didn't like it, but I think it grew on me.
The Simon Neil feature has not grown on me. And what is it?
Goliath. Yeah. Winston McCall, I really do not like Parkway, but that feature fucking goes, dude. Oh my goodness. It's so good. Yeah. That's probably one of the best. It's one of the best breakdowns I've heard all year, if not like within the past couple of years. I mean, it hits. It's like simple instrumentally, as opposed to some of the more like advanced technical gent stuff, right? But it hits like so hard.
It's again and again and again and again and again.
My God.
Nice.
If nothing else, all the strings and everything like that they incorporated throughout that you're mentioning, Jake, it makes me I need like a full album performance at Royal Albert or something like that. Like it's just this album feels like it was made for something big, right? Like arenas or the Royal Albert Hall with the orchestra, whatever. It just needs to happen sooner rather than later.
Unfortunate timing with the pandemic, though.
Yeah. But it is what it is. We'll get it eventually. It's just a matter of whether or not we're patient enough, right? I think that about sums it up. Yeah.
I think that just about sums it up.
Great month.
Yeah. There's definitely a little bit of fat at times. Some songs that like I'm not as big on.
Yeah.
But there were, for every piece of fat, there was at least like 2 songs that were great, I feel.
Yeah. This is my favorite release month in a long time.
It was a fantastic month, although March do be coming up, though.
Yeah, what fantastic 1-2 punch we got going on here.
March do be coming up, though. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have too many other like closing thoughts that I want to mention at this point.
I think
nope, none here.
I think if you guys want Hivemind merch, please at Jake Cub on Twitter.
We'll make it happen probably about the same time.
Jake the Cub. At Jake the Cub. Sorry. It's literally on my screen and I didn't read it.
Funny story, actually. The at Jake Cub account was like inactive for like it was like created in 2009. Didn't tweet like once until 2019, and I have since figured out that he would like defend Trump like religiously. It was like a 0 follower egg profile picture account that would just like go to political tweets and defend Trump, and I think
I bet he probably got hacked or something if he hasn't tweeted since 2009. Probably got account compromised.
Actually, that's a fair point. That's a fair
Well, I
point.
mean, if you're stuck with Jake the Cub, but yeah, again, on that note, follow social media,
Media.
at Hivemind Radio on YouTube, Hivemind Radio _ on Twitter,
And Instagram.
on Instagram as well, and then all of our individual socials are in the bio of the Hivemind Radio Twitter account as well. So
Also,
We
don't
really-
forget, keep an eye on our socials for when we eventually do that interview with Lurk.
yes, absolutely, and sub to the
Coming soon.
Patreon as well.
Yeah.
To hear all of Justin's little tidbits and information.
It does exist, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
No. We do, again, like always, we really do appreciate everybody who listens. Even just hitting right, like obviously in the grand scheme of things, 25 subscribers isn't a lot, but for us, like starting this out of nothing, right, and just turning it into a passion project, that means a lot to us. So thank you to everybody who tunes in, whether it be on the live stream at any point, band just checking in for their individual review, or whether you're a regular listener. It does seeing those numbers and everything, and just that impact. It at least to me, it means a lot. But
Especially because we're 4 idiots that don't know what we're doing.
yeah, exactly. The fact that you guys want to listen to us ramble is
And
humbling
remember,
in a way, I guess.
yeah,
Right?
remember,
Yeah,
you
that's
can
a good
listen to
word for it.
Justin ramble as well on Patreon.
Yeah, exactly. You can listen to 3 idiots rambling on this episode. If you want to hear 4,
Premium content.
yeah, open your pockets and give us those dollars.
Put your money where your mouth's at.
Exactly, or where our mouths are at, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. So, with that all said, then, that makes it 1 year of the Hivemind Recap podcast.
Happy 1 year,
We have
everybody! 1 year
fucking
anniversary.
made it.
COVID-19.
We have made it
Yep.
through the full 12-month cycle for the first time. And
Also,
next
funnily-
month, we begin cycle number 2.
Funnily enough,
What a way to
podcast
begin.
Yeah.
Hivemind
Turns a
New
year
Year.
older.
Yeah.
My birthday's next week.
Oh
Yeah.
hell yeah!
Be
So-
sure to spam Justin on Twitter with happy birthday.
Yes,
Or
sir.
how about don't?
No, do it. Do
No,
it.
do it, do it.
Do it.
See, they'll never hear your suggestion than not.
Unless they pay.
Exactly.
Fucking hell.
We're gonna shill this into fruition.
We are.
That's what's happening here. Oh boy.
Not if I end the podcast.
Oh boy. Yeah, that'll do it.
Yep. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next month.
Take it easy.
I was gonna say not if Jacob doesn't end the stream.
You
No,
bring
Jake
a
has the
valid
power
point.
to do that too.
I do,
Oh, yeah, fair.
So I don't know how many minutes late I started that recording,